Why is that? And what are the actual rules? Back when association football started, pitches could be up to 100 metres wide and 200 metres long. That's longer than Ellen Road. Not the pitch, the stadium. Anyway, UEFA wanted a standard across Europe for international matches, which became 105 metres long and 68 metres wide. But some clubs have been rebels, not intentionally, but because of the stadiums. Take Highbury, for example. It was 5 metres shorter and a metre narrower, meaning away sides had a challenge to adjust. White Hart Lane was exactly the same. And actually, when Spurs temporarily moved to Wembley, they asked the FA to shorten the pitch. The FA, very offended by the sacrilegious suggestion, said no, which in fairness could have actually benefited Tottenham, because when they moved into their shiny new stadium, the pitch was exactly the same size as Wembley's. Today, Forest Pitch at the City Ground is a big one. It's 2 metres wider than any other pitch in the Premier League. But the smallest of all, Craven Cottage, just 100 metres long and 65 wide. No excuse for not tracking your man. There are a couple of crazy outliers in Europe too. At Napoli's home ground, the Stadio Diego Armando Maradona, the pitch is a whopping 110 metres long. At least they don't play on a slope like Newcastle do. There's a 2-metre incline on the pitch at St James's Park. And don't get me started on the old pitch at Yeovil too. It used to be a slant of 2 metres corner to corner and across the halfway line. So UEFA have their standards, so do the FA, but they do give pitches in England some wiggle room. Pitches can be anywhere between 90 and 120 metres long and between 45 and 90 metres wide. I mean, the rules state you can't have a square pitch, but in theory you could have one that's 91 metres long and 90 wide. Imagine rocking up to play a Sunday League game and the pitch is basically a square. So there are rules and regulations on sizes, with a UEFA standard that roughly everyone follows, but as we all know, size doesn't matter, does it?
Good morning, it's just coming around to 4 minutes past 6 o'clock. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with Arnold Clark. Buy a used car and get a free 2-year service plan, plus get an extra £500 when you part exchange. Shop the upgrade event today. I'm Jeff Stelling, and Coisty, it's been a long time now.
That seems like a long, long time. How are you, my friend?
I'm good, mate, I'm good. How are you?
I'm brilliant. We're in good form. Football's been great. Good to have you back. We've missed you. Is it good to be back?
Oh, yeah.
You must have missed those 45 calls in the early morning. You must have missed them.
No, you know.
Come on now.
Look,
when that alarm goes off, you must start talking.
That's when my alarm went off yesterday morning. The first thing I was thinking about was, I've missed these. Oh, how I've missed these early morning calls. What I did miss is, seriously, we got so many brilliant texts and messages on Twitter yesterday.
Excellent.
I missed those, and missed all the talking points as well.
Well, there's been plenty of them.
Oh yeah.
I
was disappointed by the weekend's football until last night.
Oh, last night was great.
What a game!
What a game! I mean, they came flying out, didn't they?
Yeah,
came flying out. Plenty of talking points. Carrick's interview after the game, clearly not happy. that Leeds were excellent, and what a tonic for them, what a result for them, and it was amazing because I'm sitting there watching it, thinking all the supporters of other clubs watching that game, with obviously added interest, whether it's teams going for Champions League places or teams down the bottom, the relegation, the Forest, the Tottenham's watching it, all that kind of stuff. West Ham boys watching it, brilliant. But Leeds thoroughly deserved it, I think, and a very welcome 3 points.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. I mean, I always thought they were going to stay up, and I still do, because of the fixtures,
Well, Jeff,
it's Burnley at home. You think they're going to get something?
You think so? You look at they're definitely on paper got the better, if not the best fixtures. But it's amazing when you're away. I was talking with Eddie Gray on. I was talking to Eddie, and I agreed with him. It was funny talking about Leeds, Jeff, because looking at it, I thought Leeds were playing a lot better than the league position would suggest. Right? Now, I can think that all along, but the fact of the matter is they were where they were and they are where they are. So they've got to dig in and get out it. But that'll go a long way. That will go a long way.
Yeah, they couldn't have anticipated that. I mean, their first win
in
the league at Old Trafford since 1981, 6 points clear of the drop zone. There was a lovely moment of unconscious humour in the interviews afterwards when Dominic Calvert-Lewin said, "It's easy to come here and make history." And I just thought, yeah, right. No, it's not, mate. And it wasn't easy in the end because, credit to United, hopeless in the first half.
Oh, yeah, the turn, it's amazing.
But they came roaring back after the red card. Yeah. The red card seemed to act in their favour rather than in Leeds United's favour.
I know, it's a strange one. The red card, I thought was very, very harsh. I did. I've got to say, extremely harsh. I think I was listening to the boys after it, Jamie and Roy, and they're right. They're right, and I'm on their side 100%. As an ex-pro watching it saddens me a little bit, Jeff, to see good, natural, physical contests been taken out the game. And it is.
But pulling hair is not a natural physical contest.
I know.
But I get your point, because it's down in the laws as violent conduct. Now, really?
Yeah.
How violent was
Correct.
that?
That's where I'm in agreement with you.
Yeah.
I think if somebody gave a yellow card, for example, had been brandished, right, that might have been enough. I don't think it merits, to be violent conduct. I really don't. I think it's certainly a foul. It's possibly a yellow card. Well, you're right. The laws and regulations say it's violent conduct. But I don't think it is. No, I don't think it is in any ex-pro's book at all.
No, I agree with that. Look, I was pleased for Daniel Farker as well, because he's had his critics, hasn't he?
He could end up having a fantastic season.
Semi-finals of the FA Cup and survival in the Premier League. You know what he's done for me? He gets the best out of players who, hand on heart, I didn't think were necessarily up to this level. And I'm thinking of Jayden Bogle and James Justin and Ethan Ampadu, who I thought was man of the match.
I thought it was tremendous.
Brilliant. Absolutely. All of those were absolutely brilliant. So he's getting the very, very best out of what he's got. And you saw what it meant to him when he fell to his knees in celebration at full time, which summed up his emotions as he did to talkSPORT after the game.
Unbelievable proud. Also first ever win on Premier League level for us here, and this as a promoted side, also in the crunch time period of the season, a bit also under pressure to deliver and then to show such a performance. It was not just a win, also the way we played, also brave on the front foot, dominate also many parts of possession. I think could have been easily 3 or 4-0 up at half time. A bit nervous spirit after they scored, a bit unnecessary the equalizer, but also like how we brought the game over the line was amazing. I'm very proud of my players, and massive step forward.
Yeah, and he's right to being proud of his players. Matt Carrick, well, look, he's a brilliant start, hasn't he? 23 points from his 10 games. We were discussing yesterday was whether he was a shoo-in for the United manager's job. I was interested to hear Gary Neville say before the game last night that United should still be looking for what he called an elite-level manager. Now, one result's not going to cost him his chances of the job, but it's a setback, isn't it, for him personally?
Oh, of course it is. It's both a setback and disappointment. There's no getting away from that. However, it's one result in what has been a great period for him and United. Yeah. The important thing is how they recover from that setback, and that'll be interesting to see. I still think they'll, not like yourself, who nailed it, to be fair to you, at the start of the season, I still think they will find Champions League football. And then I honestly think it's very, very difficult not to give him the job. And one of my reasons for that, Jeff, is if they qualify for Champions League football, that for me is him effectively doing his job superbly well and to the best of his ability. And then they don't give him the job and they go and get somebody else and it doesn't work out. Wow, what a can of worms that is.
Yeah, completely. I think if they get Champions League, I think they have to give him the job.
So do I.
I think they have to give him the job.
I don't think they have to.
I think he deserves it, by the way, as well.
That's where I am with it. And I don't think they have to go crazy and say, well done, Michael, there's a 5-6 year contract. You say, look, Michael, we want to give you a couple of years and see how it goes, and we want to show a bit of, faith in you. You want to encourage with what you've done. Would you happy a couple of years? Let's go on and see what it takes.
People keep harping back to the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer days, don't they? When he did brilliantly as sort of interim manager, but when he got the job permanently, he didn't do quite so well. But they're two completely different situations involving two completely different people. Needless to say, he was not happy about the red card. Here's Carrick on the incident.
It's a shocking decision. He's literally tickled his hair as he's trying. First of all, by the way, he got a forearm smash in his face, so I don't know how that's not a free kick. And that happened for the first goal, even worse for their first goal. So then, as Leach is reacting to that and trying to grab kind of all his shirt as he's off balance a little bit with the tussle, he kind of touches the back of his head, and then the bobble ends up popping out, and it baffles me. It really does, because I don't know if that's the way we're going. And as soon as you touch the back of somebody, he didn't pull. It wasn't aggressive. He didn't jolt. It wasn't nothing like that. It was just to literally touch his hair. Come on, if that's a red card, then the game's gone.
Well, it wasn't a forearm smash on him. Let's get that straight right away. Nothing like that at all. Yeah, the opening gun, that's a bit more controversial, but certainly wasn't a forearm smash on Lisandro Martinez. Rich says it's more of a morals thing, hair pulling, isn't it? It's just not good for the kids to see their old models pulling hair. It would be a red card in rugby league or rugby union. Is it acceptable for grown men to pull hair?
Knows the answer to that.
Yeah. But Chris says, from the other point of view, if Martinez was a red card for violent conduct, throwing a tea bag at someone must be life without parole. And I take both points absolutely.
So do I, but I'm definitely leaning on to the side of it's not a red card.
Yeah.
I do take both points, though.
Here's an interesting point, comes from John, who says, morning, Jeff, morning, Ali, my two favourite seniors. Well, I'm not sure about that, John. we may be seniors, but we're juveniles, really.
Yes, for sure.
Juvenile delinquents. He said, Jeff, I feel the pain of these early morning get-ups Monday to Friday for me. Can't say I'm a fan. As soon as I saw no Maguire, no Mainu, and no Mbomo starting last night, I knew we wouldn't be winning that game. And I didn't get why Mbomo wasn't starting last night. And I also didn't get, having praised Matt Carrick, I also didn't get why there were no changes at half-time, or I thought he has to change things.
No, I agree with you. I take your first point, absolutely. That was a big, big surprise. In the way they played in the first half, you would have thought certainly warranted changes. Unless, some managers will sit them down, Jeff, and say, look, you've got 5 minutes. That's totally unacceptable. I'm giving you 5 minutes to see, and then we'll make change. You don't really know what's going on. But I was a little bit surprised. Certainly I was surprised that he didn't start. And you could have made, numerous changes at half-time, couldn't you? Let's be honest.
Yeah. Lorraine's texted and said, so happy to have my favourite double act back on the radio. You brighten up the mornings. Never get bored of watching the Gary Kasparov clip of you two. He said, by the way, my husband says you only read out my messages because there are only 10 people listening at this time of morning. Lorraine, millions. Hundreds of thousands. Well, thousands. 10. Hundreds. 11 at least. Keep those texts coming, Lorraine. We really appreciate them. Thank you. Leeds fans, how are you feeling this morning? I can imagine. You saw heads as well, I would imagine. Winning at Old Trafford, that's special for Leeds fans.
Certainly is.
Is there any doubt you'll stay in the Premier League after that performance? 03717 223344. United fans, has the red card for Lisandro Martinez shown how far the game has gone? Come and tell us what you thought of that decision. Coming up, we'll speak to a Leeds fan who thinks survival is all but secure after last night's result and maybe more importantly, last night's performance.
And Tyson Fury, along with Mr. Warren alongside him in the ring, had a look at Anthony Joshua sitting ringside. And Fury honed in on Joshua and said, okay, how about it?
Next, I want to give you the fight you've all been waiting for. I want you, AJ, Anthony Joshua. Let's give the fight fans what they want. The Battle of Britain. And here's my challenge. I challenge you, Anthony Joshua, to fight me, the Gypsy King, next. Do you accept my challenge?
Tonight is your night, and you know I'll sit across that ring from you in due time. You ain't gonna tell me what to do. I've been chasing you for the last 10 years. When you're ready, you come and see me and tell me your terms and conditions, and I'll have you in the ring when I'm ready. I'm the boss. You work for me. I'm the landlord. Remember that. I'm the landlord. You work for me.
Now, I've got to say, Simon, I thought AJ handled that brilliantly.
Yeah, to a point. I think he's absolutely right not to allow the whip hand to be Tyson Fury's, because Tyson's all pumped up after being back in the ring and having just won a fight. The flip side of it is I don't think Anthony Joshua is the landlord. I don't think coming after getting ironed out by Daniel Dubois puts you in the box seat. You are both the biggest names in British boxing over the last decade.
Hello and welcome to talkSPORT Goals. We've been taking you through what should be another busy day of football.
Chance to win it!
We don't need to do that, guys.
I'm going to owe you an apology.
How would you get to that conclusion? That's a weak mentality.
Oh, get out of it.
Good morning, this is talkSPORT Breakfast. I'm Jeff Stelling Ally McCoist is with me. A bit of a test for you here, Coisty.
Yes.
Because I was left with blank looks out. Even DJ Ed looked blank when I said it is Richie Blackmore's birthday today. From Deep Purple, and Richie Blackmore's Rainbow. After that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the lead singer of Rainbow was... What a voice he had, by the way. Graham. No.
I remember, obviously, Deep Purple were one. I love Deep Purple with things like, you know...
Bonnet. Graham Bonnet.
Graham Bonnet, okay. But Ian Gillan was the other big driving force behind Deep Purple, wasn't he? But,
Richie Blackmore's classic.
Blackmore, guitarist, honestly, brilliant.
Yeah, I didn't mind about a Deep Purple.
No.
I actually preferred Rainbow, to tell you the truth.
Did you? No, I love Deep Purple. Deep Purple in rock was a great album ahead of its time. And then Black Knight and Strange Kind of Woman and Smoke on the Water.
The classic, the all-time classic.
Yeah, 81 today anyway, so Richie, if you're listening... congratulations, mate. George says the Premier League should make a rule that everyone has a buzz cut. Would get rid of all this hair-pulling nonsense. You take the point, George.
Some of it's happening naturally.
Yeah.
Never mind your buzz cut.
Yeah. Let's take a call, shall we? Martin is a Leeds fan. Morning, Martin.
Good morning, Martin.
Morning, mate. I just want to say, first of all, Ali, it's an absolute privilege to talk to you.
Thank you, Martin.
I lost my dad a couple of years ago, and he was from Kirkintilloch, and he absolutely loved you. He always wore his Rangers shirt with your name on back.
Oh, Martin, I know Kirky well, mate.
It's changed a bit, Kirky, now, but we moved down to Yorkshire for the pitch years ago.
Yeah.
That's why I'm a Yorkshireman. But I went to the match last night, digressing a little bit. I can hardly talk. I've lost my voice from all singing. The atmosphere, just everything were amazing. Absolutely. And I just want to say, I know that a lot of people have wrote Leeds off at the minute. They seem to be. I don't know why, because we've played really well all season, to be honest with you. We've just not had that run of the ball. Run of the luck here and there, like against Villa. We should have really won against Villa and against Sunderland, and just little bits that didn't go in his favour. But, mate, I've hardly slept last night.
A great result, Martin. I've got to say, I was talking to, just to back up your point, with the wonderful Eddie Gray on maybe about a week, 10 days ago, and he was saying the exact thing, and I just said to Jeff, we're actually half surprised to see Leeds in the position that they're in because they've been playing some great stuff.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, all season, I mean, most of the games we've played, especially, I mean, I watch them home and away, and I'll be honest with you, we just had that little bit of bad luck here and there. We've faltered last sort of 10 minutes against sides, just capitulate. Like against Villa, we were 1-0 up until 88 minutes. Just little things like that, that we could. But I'm just so happy. And as far as the hair pulling, I'll be honest with you, I didn't agree with it, but I'll take it. As a Leeds fan, I'll take that.
Brilliant, Martin.
Thanks, Martin.
Enjoy your day. I'm
All
sure
the best,
you're going
pal.
to. Ashley in North Wales is texting and says, morning chaps, does this Leeds win condemn Spurs to the Championship?
It's a great shout. Not yet, but it's a great shout.
It hasn't condemned them, but
No.
it's certainly made life even
Not done them
tougher.
any favours.
And here's an interesting point, I think, from Chris, who said, it's not the level of force in the hair pull, it's the fact he's done it. Just like spitting, it's not the amount of spit, but the fact that somebody spat. Red card, and Carrick would agree if it was a Leeds player that had done it. That's Chris and Swansea. Yeah, and I get, okay, it's not a great image, but I do take the point, Chris. Interesting. Okay, let's take a look at today's back pages.
Back page review on talkSPORT.
And Olivia Bazaglo's back with us. Hi, Olivia.
How are you, Olivia?
I'm good. How are you?
Excellent, thank you.
I'm actually a little bit scared after watching that Leeds performance yesterday.
Yeah,
because right now,
I know that.
you know that they're going to be up for it regardless. And they've been up for it in both games against Chelsea this season. At Ellen Road, they beat us. At Stamford Bridge, they came from 2-0 down to nick a point. I am worried.
Yeah, and especially if they're safe by then, which is possible.
Yeah, and just saying about the Leeds Spurs thing, the gap 6 points, but obviously they have to play each other at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, so that's a huge game as well.
But it is, but equally Leeds have got Wolves at home and Burnley at home as well. And I think,
Yeah, and actually
for
Spurs,
me, that's enough points for Leeds.
Yeah, and Spurs have got Wolves away, haven't they? Wolves away and Leeds at home, and they're the two games that people are saying if they win, they might stay up. But anyway, as you can imagine, the back pages are dominated by this hair pull. Lissandro's bad hair day on the back of the Star, on the back of the Sun. Here we go. Martinez bun pullers, White's eavesdrop fears, and on the back of the Mail, hair raising. Obviously, a little bit controversial. And obviously that fan texting in, Jeff, is basically saying that a hair pull regardless is a red card, right? It's not the force, it's not the aggressiveness. But do you agree with that? Do you think that context and a bit of common sense has to come into it?
Of course it does.
Because also, I mean, you can see now if you're watching on the screen, so ironically, Christian Romero on Marc Cucurella was probably the most aggressive of the hair pulls, didn't get a red card, but we know that was because Mike Dean refused to send his mate to the VAR because he was having a bad day. João Neves in the Club World Cup final, hair pull again on Cucurella, was a red card. Katie McCabe on Alyssa Thompson in the Champions League, Arsenal against Chelsea, wasn't a red card. Tete on Semenyo this season wasn't a red card. So what is a red card and what isn't a red card? Because you can't say every hair pull's a red card because not everyone is.
100%. Well,
I think the law says that the hair pull is violent conduct and is a red card. Whether it's implemented is another matter.
Right.
We all know not all of the laws are always implemented as they should be.
100%. My argument would be that is not... somebody else might say that's violent conduct. That is not violent conduct to me. Is it a free kick? Is it a terrible look? It's everything, yes. But you'll never tell me it's not violent conduct.
Yeah.
Do you think so you think the Lisandro Martinez one wasn't violent conduct, but there can be some instances where, the Romero one on Cucurella is probably the most obvious one, even though that wasn't a red card. We all know it probably should have been.
It was certainly more violent than what we watched last night.
And again, Kenny Tete, I don't know if you remember, Kenny Tete sort of grabbed sort of the back end of Semenyo's sort of little ponytail, and he went to the referee and said that happened, and VAR said there was no conclusive evidence.
The difficulty is when you come down to levels of hair pull.
Yeah.
Realistically, I think the only way to implement it is it's black and white. It's a hair pull and it's a red card, or it's not a hair pull. And frankly, it's something we don't want to see in the game. I thought it was soft. Ironically, it did United a favour. I thought it was soft. But we don't want to see it in the game. That is for sure. And Ryan, as a Leeds fan, said the red was harsh. He said, but rules are rules. He said it was the best thing that happened for United, as they were terrible before it. And he's absolutely spot on. He goes on, by the way, and said Leeds should have been 3 or 4-0 up at half time. He said, either way, it's great to hear United fans moaning.
That first half performance, by the way, from Leeds was absolutely brilliant. And
wasn't it?
Yeah, like that fan just said, they could have been 3, 4, 5 at half time. I think the issue again, it feels like we sit here and just say the same things when it comes to refereeing decisions, is you just want consistency. If you're gonna send everyone off for a hair pull, then fine. But it's almost like picking and choosing which ones are red and which ones aren't.
Well, I know, and I hear you, but
how can we?
I know. Is it as plain and simple as that? Because he's turned, and he's just. It's not even a tug, really.
He sort of just grabs his hair tie, doesn't he?
Yeah. You can guarantee, right, if his hair wasn't there at the back, hanging down, he was going for the back of his jersey, right?
Yeah, if his hair's, if Dominic Calvert-Lewin's hair's sort of on the top of his head.
Do you know what? As crazy as it may seem, I need to word this right so it sounds right. I think it was just an attempt to grab anything that he could. Yeah. I don't think it was specifically hair that he was going for. It was just to try and prevent him getting away from him.
Yeah. I think most of them are.
It's interesting because you use the word consistency, and I get that. Daniel Dean, for instance, he's just texted me. He said a bit of common sense will bring the game back. Now, you either have consistency or you have common sense. Yeah. The two do not necessarily go hand in hand. So either every hair pull is a red card, and that's consistency, or you use common sense and say, well, actually, there was nothing in that last night. So you're going to alienate the people who want consistency.
You are 100% correct, but then you're as well removing the words violent conduct from hair pulling, because it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because that last night, in my opinion, was nothing like violent conduct. However, it was slight hair pulling.
Yeah.
A yellow card, maybe, probably for that one, a yellow card would have been the correct decision. Because, I mean, Lisandro Martinez, we know what Lisandro Martinez is like, but you can quite clearly tell there was no malicious intent, there was no aggressiveness. It wasn't. None. I think, to call that violent conduct feels a little bit harsh. And it's a 3-game ban.
Yeah.
That's a 3-game ban for Lisandro Martinez at a very important time and some massive games for Manchester United.
Yeah.
So can it be rescinded, and will it be rescinded?
I mean, Warren's
it won't
just...
be rescinded. There's no chance.
It won't be rescinded.
No chance.
Warren's just said an arm in the face is violent conduct. Calvert-Lewin threw 3 last night with no consequence. I mean, Warren, I'm sorry you've been listening to Michael Carrick too much. He didn't throw 3 in any way, shape or form.
Do you think for the first goal...
How do you jump... You're running in. How do you jump as a striker with your arms down by your side? It was good, aggressive centre-forward play, and Lenny Yoro was too soft in that incident, in my opinion. But I sort of could have understood if it had been ruled out.
That's exactly where I am on it. This is worrying me. We're agreeing.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
Right? I think you must give... if he doesn't give the goal as a centre-forward, I'm like that. Come on, do me a favour. Excuse me, because he has to attack the area.
Yeah.
Does he catch him? Yes.
By the way,
but there's always going to be it's a contact sport.
Yeah.
Always. Look, just finally, we've got to go to a break. Simon, who's a Chelsea fan, says hair pulls are glossed over because refs are so used to not seeing shirt pulls. You're dead right, Simon. How is it they all see the hair pulls, but they don't see the shirt pulls?
Very true.
Anyway, Olivia, thanks very much
Thank
indeed.
you.
Coming up, we'll get the latest on West Brom's alleged rule breaches and whether a points deduction is imminent.
Tottenham Hotspur, this mighty club with a phenomenal stadium, we all know that, of course, are looking at heading to Sheffield United, with all due respect, Birmingham, Swansea, Preston, Stoke next season. Is that what's going to happen? Graham's a big Tottenham fan and joins us live. Graham, good morning. Is that what's going to happen?
I'm sorry to say, I think at the minute, I think it has to be. We'd have to be completely blindsided, I feel, to think anything else. I said in amongst group chats with friends that in January, the moment we slip into that bottom three, I don't see us getting out of it. And I think it's got nothing to do, and this alludes to a point that Simon made, I feel, maybe 10 minutes ago, about not necessarily having that quality, because it's clear that the quality hasn't been there this season. It's about having the fight and the mentality to actually pull yourself together, earn the money that you're being paid, and get yourself out of this and restore some sort of reputation that this football club has got. Unfortunately, I feel for us at the minute, we have too many players that have completely checked out. When the going got tough in and around January, February time, when you actually sat there and thought, we're in a bit of bother here, agents started appearing. Suddenly we've got Van der Ven doing interviews with his dad, and straight away you look at that and go, they're angling for moves already. We've got Paulina, who's on loan, who I actually really like, and I feel he's probably the closest one we've got to someone that's willing to stand up and fight and knows what it takes to try and win games of football. But when you look at, we've put up with...
Every spring, sports fans in Europe come together to celebrate arguably rugby's biggest annual tournament, the Six Nations. But why is it the home nations, plus France and Italy, and no one else? It all started back in 1871 when Scotland beat England in the very first international rugby match. A few years later, when they could field a team, Wales decided they'd host England, and an idea was thought up. With Ireland keen, they formed the Home International Championship, which ran from 1883. In 1910, France was allowed to join, as they were developing into a serious rugby nation, and thus the Five Nations was born. France had an interesting history with the championship. They were actually booted out for paying their players in 1931, when the home nations were keen to keep it amateur. After World War II, though, France were let back in, but it remained a closed shop for more than 50 years. And when another country was let in, it was only really because the Five Nations hand had been forced. Italy was developing into a serious contender, beating Scotland, France and Ireland twice in the same year, meaning in 1999 officials got together and said yes to Italy, and it became the Six Nations. So what changes, if any, come next? 7 nations? 8? A promotion and relegation system? Or should we leave it alone and let it remain the great rugby tradition it's become?
Good morning, this is talkSPORT Breakfast with Arnold Clark. It's the perfect time to upgrade your car. Get 2 years free servicing when you buy a used car in the upgrade event. Check it out online. I'm Jeff Stelling Ally McCoist is with me this morning. We're here through until 10 o'clock. You'll recognise by the music that it is competition time now. And a big one, 2 tickets up for grabs for Wimbledon on Monday, July the 6th. Be watching the world's greatest tennis players from official Wimbledon debenture seats on centre court. You'll also have exclusive debenture lounge access throughout the day. The perfect place to soak up the atmosphere between matches. For your chance to win, just text the word WIN to 83338. Text costs £2.50 plus your standard network rate. Or you can call 0343 418 7260. Lines close this Thursday at 4 p.m. That's when you'll need to answer your phone if it rings. 18 plus, UK residents only. This is a network promotion. Full T's and C's at talksport.com. So for your chance to win, text the word WIN to 83338 and do it now. And the best of luck to you. It's a great day out. Steve has texted in and said, he means Spurs, we won't get 7 more points than Leeds, so that's them safe now. If we don't beat Brighton and Wolves, we're down.
It's a lot understandable pessimism from the Leeds
fans. I
could see it.
Yes,
One or two
Spurs fans,
here.
yeah.
An interesting one. Kessie messaged in and said Ronnie James Dio was also a lead singer with Rainbow. And I need to check that one out, actually.
All right, okay.
So Graham Bond was brilliant, but so was Ronnie James Dio. Steve the Happy Hammer has said there's a tribute band, Deeper Purple, who are meant to be sensational. And just for confirmation, David, the Sunderland fan's been on. I can assure you, David, my priorities in the North East lie with Sunderland. Just if there's anybody out there. I can assure you, David.
I did see that. And
I do like to see Newcastle and Middlesbrough doing well, which I'd imagine a lot of Sunderland fans don't. But you better believe I'm a marker.
Yeah, I mean, it was, and I don't know if you saw the game at the weekend, the Sunderland
I did.
game, but very, very
Excellent.
solid performance from Sunderland.
And nowhere near full strength.
No.
Nowhere near full strength. What a season.
Yeah, well, they're a couple of points behind Chelsea. It's not impossible they could get into Europe. Personally, I don't think that would do them any favours.
That's where I'm with you. Because you then have to go out and maybe strengthen again and get another 3 or 4
That's right.
players.
But you try telling that to fans of Sunderland, the prospect of European football, wow.
But it can be the detriment.
Incredible. I mean, Regis Labrie, wow.
Phenomenal job.
What
Absolutely fantastic.
Now then, to a team in a bit of a crisis at the moment, West Bromwich Albion, they could face a points deduction this season following alleged breach of the EFL's financial regulations. Potential sanction comes from an alleged financial breach of the Championship's profit and sustainability rules. Now, to put this in perspective, any punishment this season could have huge implications for West Brom, as they are just 2 points off the relegation places at the moment. To explain a little more on whether this could be a lifeline to those teams at the bottom of the Championship table, let's say a very good morning to talkSPORT reporter Ben Jacobs. Morning, Ben.
Good morning, Ben.
Jeff, Ali, good morning.
So, Ben, what are they accused of having done wrong?
Well, in short, they're accused of exceeding the EFL's limit under profit and sustainability, which is across a 3-year cycle, a £39 million loss. Now, sources indicate if there is a breach, and West Brom have said that they believe they are compliant, it's minor. Minor would constitute 2 million to 4 million, which means that if there was to be a points deduction, it would likely be between 2 and 3 points. But as you say, should that be the case, and if it's implemented this season, and it's kind of a race against time as far as the regulatory procedure is concerned, that would take West Bromwich Albion into the relegation zone and potentially give the likes of Leicester, Oxford United and Portsmouth a big lifeline. And don't forget, what makes this race even more fascinating is Leicester are already on a 6-point deduction. And this weekend, Leicester, who are in the relegation zone, travel to Portsmouth, who are just outside the relegation zone, in a pivotal season-defining game. And that one's live on talkSPORT, and West Brom are going to have to keep a close eye on that one. So there's 2 aspects to this. One is, West Ham going to be in the relegation zone because of a minor points deduction? And 2 is this process going to be resolved before the season ends, or could we be in a situation where after the season ends, we still don't know who's down?
It's amazing that, Ben. I'm thinking about what you just said there. The ramifications of the timing of the potential, points deduction or fine are as equally important as anything else in the whole scenario, judging by where the clubs are, or the club is, and the other clubs around them are. I mean, it's absolutely unbelievable scenario to be in at this moment in time.
Yeah, and there's no way around it, really, because what happens is the clubs have until the 31st of December to submit their annual accounts. The year we're in, remember, is 1 year behind. So 2024, 2025, then they are assessed. If there's an alleged breach, they are informed. Then that's where we're at now. They have 14 days to reply, and after those 14 days, there's 28 days in order to effectively have a compliance hearing, but there could be an appeals process on top of that as well. So if you're West Bromwich Albion, you could let time tick away, you could fight this and hope it rolls into next season, and at the same time, if they're safe, you could suddenly willingly take the points deduction because you know it doesn't matter in the context of this season. Or if you're down because of a potential points deduction, you could try and drag it on until next season. The EFL will try and mitigate against that by doing this as fast as possible. But again, the key point here is we may not know whether West Ham are safe or down, and therefore other teams may have to wait as well until after the season ends.
Yeah, I mean, it becomes horribly, horribly messy, doesn't it, if it rolls on into another season. And then, of course, if there is a points deduction, I don't know whether you're open to some sort of comebacks from the sides who have been relegated. Instead, it's not really black and white either, is it, Ben? Because, you know, we talk about profit and sustainability, but there are so many different elements to take into consideration when you're calculating whether you have overspent or not.
Yeah, and West Brom's perspective is that they are compliant, so they must feel that this number in the low millions is debatable and challengeable, and there are within EFL's profit and sustainability, much like the Premier League, aspects of your loss that are deductible, such as academy or women's team or parts of your infrastructure. There's a near-miss period, which means after the financial year ends, if you make a big sale in the weeks that follow, but that sale started before the deadline, if you can show mitigating circumstances as to why there was a delay in that sale, you can still put it on the previous year's books. And then on top of all of that, there's jurisdiction. You may remember that Leicester delayed closing their financial books when they were a Premier League club and then argued the Premier League couldn't punish them because they were no longer a Premier League club. It dragged on. In the end, the Premier League were able to level the charges, and the points deduction ended up being implemented when they were an EFL club. And that looked like a good result for Leicester. And then suddenly they've had a poor season, and actually those 6 points for them might be the difference between staying up and going down. So this is one for the lawyers to resolve. And even if West Brom are guilty and they deny any wrongdoing, they may choose to drag this on to the point where the points deduction simply cannot be implemented this season because time runs out.
So depressing that lawyers have such a big say in football these days. Ben, thank you very much.
Thanks again, Ben.
Cheers, guys.
talkSPORT reporter Ben Jacobs there. Vin, as Manchester United fans, said, Jeff, you're wrong. It doesn't mention hair pulling anywhere in the rules about violent conduct. You're absolutely right, Vin, it doesn't, but it is regarded as violent conduct. He also goes on to say, also was completely accidental from Martinez. He was trying to put his hand on Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who had his hand on his own throat, and his fingers got caught in the hair. And Vin, I sort of agree with you, you know? I mean, I do sort of agree with you. It was desperately soft. Right, still to come on breakfast.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. Download the new improved app to easily manage your accounts and quotes.
We will be joined by this man.
Bracewell's had her out. Danger not over. Le Tissier! Can you believe it?
That's right, we'll continue as they continue their push for promotion back to the Premier League. We'll be speaking to Southampton and Premier League legend Matt Le Tissier. And as the Scottish Premiership is on the home straight, we'll be revisiting something that gave Ali a bit of a bee in his bonnet last week.
Well, they're running the thing up here. That's why. They're absolutely running it, mate.
Have Celtic got the league wrapped around their little finger? Are those fixtures handing them the title on a plate? We'll be discussing that next. That was our breakfast preview with Travis Perkins.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. Get free next day track delivery. Head to travisperkins.co.uk or download the app.
It's going to be some summer of change, isn't it, for Liverpool?
Again, yeah, massive. It's. Do
you think Slot might be part of that summer of change?
No chance. Honestly, I don't say that lightly, but the amount of Liverpool supporters I know are on the same page. The hierarchy aren't daft. They're not stupid. Finishing 5th for Liverpool, I'm sorry, that's not acceptable. Irrelevant of the mitigating circumstances.
It might get you Champions League.
Well, it will, and financially that's good, but where they're at is nowhere near. They're nowhere near it. They're only going to probably only get 5th because of other teams failing below them.
How many times did you play for Liverpool? You got a rough ballpark figure?
240, 250.
240, 250. So you must have the absolute utmost admiration for Andy. 373 appearances for the club. He came for 8 million from Hull.
Yeah, but the respect comes from not only his longevity, it's the level of his performance during that period. His numbers are phenomenal. And he's been. I think he's been underrated. I don't think he's ever, in all the success Liverpool have had. Yes, there's times where he's had some plaudits, but it's more been Trent.
Yeah,
you know, the front three under Klopp. All that's the Henderson, the captain, fantastic. Robbo's gone under, and there's the other thing as well. Last thing on him, it's no coincidence Virgil hasn't been himself because he hasn't had Robbo next to him. That's definitely a factor.
So, Hart said.
Hello and welcome to talkSPORT Goals. I'm taking you through what should be another busy day of football.
Chance to win it!
We don't need to do that, guys.
I'm going to owe you an apology.
How would you get to that conclusion? That's a weak mentality.
Oh, get out of it.
Good morning, this is talkSPORT Breakfast. I'm Jeff Stelling Ally McCoist is with me. Bald Mickey from Wakefield, who once had long permed hair, says, lads, hair pulling has no place in the game. You could see Calvert-Lewin's head move backwards as he was pulled. Red card sends a statement to all players that it will not be tolerated. And Luke, who's a West Ham fan, not a West Brom fan, says, no way should these punishments, and we're talking about the profit and sustainability punishments, no way should these punishments be handed out mid-season. Any punishment should be added for the following season, or it makes the results of the current season pointless. Interesting. Okay, right, now it's time for this. And Olivia is back with us.
Yes, I've got the power. Well,
who sang it?
We have this problem, Ali. So basically, I think it is actually. I think they just said that in there. I have a real issue with
the Phil Taylor walk on. That's all you need to know in the dark.
I was saying to Jeff yesterday actually that I know loads of songs and like lyrics to songs, and I can sing them all day. Got no idea the name of the song, and no idea who sings them. Got a real issue with that. However, I've got the power. We are playing that song because Ali was suggesting that Celtic have the power after the Scottish Premiership split fixtures were announced. So let's quickly have a listen as to what our Ali McCoist had to say.
Well, they're running the thing up here, aren't they? That's why. They're absolutely running it, mate. They've got 4 of the last 6 at home, mate. Again, we've got 4 or 6 away. You couldn't make it up, pal.
Favourable fixtures for sure.
Okay, son, they're playing Hearts' final game of the season. right? Imagine one of them needs to win to stop us winning the league. Do you think it'll happen? You better believe it'll happen.
Be in your bonnet.
It's probably worth mentioning that Brazil wasn't on the end of the microphone as well. And he was expecting it because he'd been winding me up all morning before I phoned him.
Okay, so we thought we would run through some of the Celtic media outlets, Ali, painting you to be a conspiracy theorist. So the first one is the Celtic Boys. Ali McCoist's bitter Celtic rant is as ridiculous as it gets. Ali McCoist's pointless rant and claim that Celtic run things has highlighted the real problem with Scottish football. Glasgow World, Ali McCoist turns post-split conspiracy theorist as Rangers icon has Celtic hunch over title race fixtures after he claims Celtic are running it. Celts are here, they're running the thing. Ali McCoist's bizarre Celtic split rant. But the best one of them all, Ali, is the Celtic blog. McCoist's deranged anti-Celtic rant about fairness, not fixtures.
Shock horror. Ali McCoist and getting stick from Celtic. Yeah. Well, knock me sideways. I mean, as far as I can remember, it's happened for the best part of 40 years, me getting stick. So I don't know.
Well, you've been deranged for the best part of 40 years.
I did like the deranged.
That was good.
Yeah, the deranged headline was good.
The thing about it is with the split, it normally doesn't matter because somebody's 30 points clear. It's only this season, isn't it, when there's 3 points between three teams? And I looked at those fixtures, I couldn't believe. I've got no allegiance in this at all. I couldn't believe.
Neither have I.
Yeah. I couldn't believe that Rangers have got Hearts away and Celtic away. I mean,
well, do you know something? I'm going to tell you, it's not perfect. It's never going to be perfect, right? And you can make cases. I mean, the Hearts fans having to travel to Celtic for the final game of the season. And I did mention to you that this is getting probably slightly less to do with the split. But Rangers go to Falkirk again, final game of the season. Falkirk could be in potentially in the Scottish Cup final. So they would be well within their rights to play a weekend side. But I don't think that's got as much to do with the actual split because that's just Falkirk getting to the cup final. Hey, that is what it is. Celtic, I think, have had 4 of the last 6 at home. Rangers 4 last 6 away.
How are the fixtures, the fixtures decided then, Coisty? Seriously, how are they decided?
I don't know. I think 4 guys sit round a table. Honestly, I think it's like that. Do you know who'll have a part in it? The police. The police will certainly have a part in it also, I would think, because I would imagine the police wouldn't fancy a Rangers-Celtic end-season game where the title could be decided. Call me old-fashioned, but I don't think they'd want that in the agenda. So there'll be a number of things coming on to. I mean, there was a part of me winding Brazil up there, and he was doing the same to me. But listen, Jeff, it's not ideal. It never will be ideal. But as I said to you before the show, the one thing that it is, tell you what, it's exciting.
It is.
I mean, it's exciting.
Yeah.
It is very exciting. This got us thinking then about some non-sporting conspiracy theories, and our very own Gabby Agbonlahor had one of his own.
Emma, just let me ask you, and Gabby, very briefly, I don't like buttoning in bulletins. Yeah. Do you really care about the moon? What's going on there?
No. The dark side of the moon? No. Yeah.
I don't think they're really there. Not for me.
You don't think it's there?
No, I don't think it's real. Me.
So
they're in somewhere in Nevada, just like, I don't believe it, man.
Okay.
So Gabby Agbonlahor doesn't. Jeff, if you can't see, Jeff is really shaking his head. So Gabby doesn't believe that the Artemis went to the moon.
I think there's a general conception in this studio that we could maybe sign Gabby on the next one. The next Gabby for Artemis 3.
Yeah, that would be well. I wish, if they had cameras inside that'd be unbelievable.
But you know something? I'm serious. My second oldest said to me, he didn't say he didn't think. He was questioning the moon landing. Neil Armstrong was at 69. And I said, what are you talking about? And I think he's winding me up here. Do you know what I mean? He's going. He read somewhere that the flag was moving. There's, all that kind of nonsense. I'm putting it down to those people and the flat earth people Need to get a life.
Okay, well, we've just before I go, we've just got some other non-sporting
Don't
conspiracy
hit me with a
theories.
flat earth one.
No, we're not. One of them is that Kurt Cobain didn't die in 1994 and instead faked his death and became a Buddhist monk. Jeff's really enjoying this section of the show. Supposedly staged...
Well, you can make up anything you want to, can't you?
Jeff, I didn't. This is not my conspiracy theories. I don't believe these.
What monastery is it? As a matter of interest.
What
monastery is it that he's gone to?
I don't...
Oh, see that? There you are. There's no
just a Buddhist monk. That's all I know. Buddhist monastery. Some versions say he went to Tibet or Southeast Asia. Other claims he shaved his head and lives in silence as a monk. Another one is Justin Trudeau is Fidel Castro's son. The resemblance, to be fair, is uncanny. If you have a look at a picture of Justin Trudeau and a young Fidel Castro. Another one is the Titanic never sank.
Oh, God help us. There, let's just stop. This is just such absolute garbage. Sorry, Olivia.
No, it's not. They're not my conspiracy.
The Titanic didn't think that's so offensive to people who have relatives.
Well, it is, but
who died on the Titanic.
Listen, again, back to the flat Earth people. Maybe it's still going. Maybe it's still going somewhere.
Serious.
Do you have any conspiracy theories, Ali, that you believe apart from that Celtic are running things?
Split.
Yeah,
I think
the Celtic are running
I'll
things.
stick to the split.
Yeah.
That'll do me.
Jeff, do you?
No, I don't.
None
But
at all.
Andy Townsend shared a great Gabby moment with me yesterday when he was talking about the Masters Golf last week, and he said, "Where's it being held at this year?" Which I thought was great because obviously the Masters is always.
No, Gabby didn't say that.
Apparently so. Gabs, I'm sorry. I'm sorry if that's just a conspiracy theory against you, but that's what Andy told me yesterday. Brilliant.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Fantastic.
Poor Gabby.
Thanks, Olivia. That's great. Look, just a serious text here. It comes from Lee in the West Midlands. And you remember Lee? Because he does. He said, "Very good morning, Jeff and Ali. I used to text in on a regular basis, but I had a few struggles. And like most men, I kept it all in. So I took the huge step of getting help. And I'm pleased to say I'm on the right road and smiling. It's great to be listening to you two again with a smile on my face. Enjoy your day. More importantly, Lee, enjoy your day. And it's great that you've taken some steps and that you are on the right road. The best of luck to you, my friend." Coming up, we'll discuss whether Michael Carrick is in danger of losing the Manchester United job full-time following a run of only one win in 4. One thing I did think, though, was I looked at City at Chelsea yesterday, and when they stepped up a gear in the second half, I thought Cherky was fantastic.
Yes,
second
he was.
half as well. He gives you something totally different. But what I was going to say was the depth of that squad, that they can bring on Phil Foden and Savinho. They can leave Mamouche and Reinders sitting on the bench twiddling their fingers,
Yeah.
I think that squad, Arsenal have got a great squad too, but I just think that squad depth could be the key in the end.
I wouldn't argue with that. That again, they were so impressive second half. I mean, Jeremy Doku, when I'm watching him, Jeff, and I love Liv, the way that every time he gets the ball, his first thought isn't to just step inside and drop it off to somebody else and then go wide again and I might get it back in a minute. Can I travel 20, 30, 40 yards with this ball? Can I beat my man? Can I get beyond him? Can I then produce something? And every single time he gets the ball, his first thought is to get at people and get beyond them. Love that from wide players.
I do love that from wide players because we don't see that enough from wide players. However, it is just his 8th Premier League goal in 4 years. Isn't that wild?
Is that
someone like Jeremy Doku?
Yeah, really.
7 before yesterday.
Well, again, it's that's a really interesting stat. That is. But and again, for someone of his ability, he should be getting a lot more than that. But He's just such a dangerous player and tough. Malo Gusto is a decent fullback. He had a tough time yesterday.
What football ground are you thinking of when someone says this?
Really tough place to go. Difficult place to go. Such a tough place to go.
It's a tough place to go at the moment.
It was a really difficult place to go, always.
But what are the toughest places to go, really? We've scoured the planet to find out. Forget a cold, wet Tuesday night in Stoke. Try playing in a blizzard 220 miles inside the Arctic Circle at the world's northernmost professional club. When Chelsea lost at Tromsø in Norway in the 97-98 Cup Winners' Cup, a massive snowstorm hit at half-time. These two boys and their brooms were absolutely no match for it. We're staying in Scandinavia for Scotland's toughest away day on a windswept cliff in the Faroe Islands. In Euro 2000 qualifying, Craig Brown's men were taken to fishing village Toftir. Kevin Gallagher called the pitch a cowfield and the wind like Pitodry on a bad day. The Faroe Islands part-timers equalised in stoppage time, leading to these absolute scenes, and still one of Scotland's most embarrassing results.
Daft little ground, silly game.
But away trips don't come any tougher than a lung-busting schlep up the Andes to face Bolivia in La Paz. But now the Bolivians have taken home advantage to another level. The country's highest city, El Alto, 4,100 metres above sea level. Grass doesn't even grow up here. Bolivia have not lost here yet. The longest unbeaten run in any professional league ever belongs to Red Star Belgrade, or Crvena Zvezda if you must. They've gone 7 years without defeat at the Rajko Mitic in Serbia's Superliga. Their fans are pretty intimidating as well, but they're not as loud as this mob. Galatasaray's Ali Sami Yen Stadium's officially the loudest in world football. In a derby with Fenerbahce, Galatasaray fans set a Guinness World Record of 131 decibels. That's louder than Motorhead, and pretty tough to carry out your manager's instructions when you can't even hear them. However, our most intimidating away day is in Wales, where cameras can't enter and players can't leave. HMP Prescoed. This prison team was briefly kicked out the Gwent League over concerns about young opposition having to go in there. Now that's a tough place to go.
Early June 1939, Germany, always a tough place to go to.
Good morning to you. It's 5 minutes past 7 o'clock. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with Arnold Clark. Shop the upgrade event today. You'll get an extra £500 when you part exchange your car. Don't miss your chance to boost your valuation. I'm Jeff Stelling. Ally McCoist is with me. We're here right through until 10 o'clock. On the way for you this morning, former Leeds United and Liverpool star Gary McAllister will join us to look back on Leeds' brilliant win over Manchester United last night. And we'll also ask him if they're safe, and we'll look ahead to Liverpool's huge Champions League game tonight. A lot to get through in 3 minutes.
Plenty.
Yeah. Sheffield United striker Patrick Bamford, he'll be joining us to reveal all about life at Sheffield United and playing for Chris Wilder. And we'll ask Southampton legend Matt Le Tissier about Saints' brilliant season, brilliant second half of the season anyway. Could they yet seal automatic promotion to the Premier League? Could they come through the playoffs? They face Blackburn Rovers tonight, been a brilliant run from Tonda Eckhart's side.
Blackburn have picked up as well, by the way.
A little bit, but they're still in.
Oh, they're in it, yeah.
In trouble.
But in a better place than they were. Maybe
but Saints unbeaten in 17 in all competitions. What a run that is. Incredible. And their manager is 33 years of age. Incredible as well. All that and more, but now it was a memorable night for Leeds. Live on talkSPORT for the first time since 1981. They beat Manchester United in the league at Old Trafford to go 6 points clear of the drop.
It's been a mad weekend, so what awaits tonight?
Tonight's really disappointing and for different reasons.
Comes down to Okafor, and he dabs it home, and Leeds United do lead. 4 minutes into the game, they've started brightly.
Such a performance. It was not just a win, also the way we played was so brave on the front foot.
Back to Okafor, little volley and a flick into the far corner.
Well, and it's no surprise, is it? It's been coming, that's for sure.
They would be going 6 points clear of Tottenham Hotspur.
Ups and downs, you know, we want to be better, okay. And we will be.
The referee has stopped the game here. Is there going to be a red card here? Martinez has pulled Dominic Calvert-Lewin's hair.
There's no way that you can say that is violent conduct, can you?
Red card, straight. Off you go.
Shocking decision. Come on, if that's a red card then the game's gone.
Fernandes with a better delivery. Casemiro to the far post, and he scored again.
Unbelievable proud. Also first ever win on Premier League level for us here.
6 points clear of relegation. What a performance from Leeds United. They have beaten Manchester United by 2-1.
What a night for Leeds, but for Manchester United, it's not back to the drawing board for Mike Carrick, is it? But it's just a little bit of a setback. Lisandro Martinez, of course, sent off for that hair pull on Dominic Calvert-Lewin, left Michael Carrick fuming at full time. Let's talk to the Sun's Manchester United correspondent, Samuel Luckhurst. Morning to you, Sam.
Morning, Sam.
Good morning, Jeff. Good morning, Ali. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah,
Nice
not
to see
a
you,
problem,
mate.
mate. Look, let's leave the red card alone for a moment. How much of a setback on a personal level is this for Michael Carrick?
It certainly introduces some jeopardy to United's running. I think looking at the way things were shaping up and with Chelsea losing again on Sunday, that game against Chelsea now is a lot bigger by virtue that if United won last night, they'd have been 10 points clear of Chelsea. There'd been a chance they could have had Champions League qualification boxed off by the end of the week if they'd gone to Stamford Bridge and won there. That's obviously not going to be the case now. And that should hurt Chelsea up as well because United were really poor last night. And I think one of the interesting elements about it was that before the Leeds game, that the most changes that Carrick had made to a starting 11 were only two changes. Last night he made 4 changes, and it really did seem to throw United. It disrupted their rhythm. A couple of those changes were enforced, some of them not enforced, but I could understand why. Brian Mbeumo came out, Benjamin Sesko came in, Nusa Mazraoui coming in for Diogo Dalot, who missed that Ireland training camp last week due to illness. So logical changes, but nevertheless, he could have maybe been a bit more creative. And it always, it seems, when United have a bad result, it always comes back to the midfield. And unfortunately for Manuel Ugarte, that was his 10th start of the season last night. He's only had 1 win, and there have been 6 defeats in that sequence.
So I mean, it's straightforward as if United get Champions League football, Carrick will get the job.
I think that's the gut feeling for most of us. There's been absolutely nothing concrete coming out about United sounding out external candidates. I think in defence of them, really, there's unlikely to be an eminent elite coach externally who will be available. Luis Enrique would tick a lot of boxes, but I just don't see that happening where he's contracted to PSG until next year. I think if you look on bookies' chalkboards, the next name down is Julian Nagelsmann, who has been out of club football for 3 years. I think he's just there almost by default. So, top 5, I'm sure, like you guys, you probably wouldn't be in favour of 5th place securing Champions League football in the Premier League. I think it kind of goes against the grain of what that competition should be about. But I don't think it really would harm Carrick's job prospects even if United finish 4th or 5th at this stage, despite the fact that they should be really targeting 3rd. And if they do get Champions League football, it's very difficult for that reason and various other reasons. I mean, his press conferences are so dry, which will be manner of heaven for the power brokers who obviously had Ruben Amorim to deal with, dropping bombs on a weekly basis.
I think at the start of the season, most Manchester United fans, if you offered them 3rd place, would bite your hand off. Yeah. But you mentioned Ugarte there. Whoever's in charge next season, how big, despite the fact that they're 3rd in the table, how big a rebuild job will they have? I mean, I look at that back 4 and think there's a bit of work to be done there.
There certainly is, and that won't even be the priority area. The priority area will be midfield. They'll want a winger as well, or a left-sided player. But there's every chance they'll go through the summer transfer window without signing a defender. They've got 2 left-backs, they've got 2 right-backs, they've got 5 centre-backs, all of them well under contract now that Harry Maguire's been tied down. But you do look at areas and you think, well, those in another summer, ordinarily, they should be areas where they would improve. Diogo Dalot and Luke Shaw are starting fullbacks. Shaw signed in 2014, Dalot signed in 2018. Are Manchester United going to win the title with those two being regulars? No. Next season, the chances are United are going to be in Europe, so they are going to need a bigger squad, as Harry Maguire told us last week. So they're going to need that depth as well. So you look at defence, and there are a lot of areas to improve there, but it's still, as I said earlier, it comes back to the midfield. Kobbie Mainoo was out injured last night. United only had 2 other out-and-out central midfielders. They did have Mason Mount as an option, who ironically was bought to play in central midfield because United thought he could do that role, even though I think all the evidence suggested that he's a playmaker, and he's not played there for a long, long time, and he's also got his own fitness issues as well.
Tell you, Sam, you mentioned the word the playmaker there. The one constant throughout the last couple of seasons for me has been Fernandes. I mean, he wasn't brilliant last night, but I mean, again, another assist, brilliant ball to the back post area.
Yeah, he, as you said, he was not on form last night. He was ranting and raving at a couple of teammates. Sen Lomans copped it in the first half. Brian Mbeumo copped it in the second half as well for not getting a shot or a cross off. But inevitably, United's breakthrough came from one of his crosses, and then he's creating other chances later on in the game from dead ball kicks. I mean, without him, they would not be in the conversation for qualifying for the Champions League this season. They've got some talented players, obviously, up top, but Fernandes is on a different level. And it does feel like, certainly with some of the media he's done over the past week and the people at United, they've been encouraging Carrick to really talk up his chances of winning the PFA Player of the Year award, because as far as I'm concerned, he'd be a worthy recipient of that in what has overall been a pretty substandard Premier League season.
Brilliant. Sam, thank you very much for your time.
Thanks, Sam.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, as far as Manchester United are concerned, disappointing setback. I think the jury's still out on Seshko as well, isn't it?
Yes.
He got a start last night. And
he's a little bit unlucky with the header late on, you know.
Yeah.
I think he gets up well and he's just trying to get it back on target.
One great chance in the first half where he was very hesitant, very slow making his mind up on what to do. But I guess that's, because of his lack of activity. He's not played that often. But Leeds, whoa, I thought they were
different class.
Just absolutely brilliant. To a man, really.
Yeah.
There were no weak links there. It was a fantastic performance. Manchester United's next game away at Chelsea. Big game in the quest for Champions League football, of course. Big game for probably both the bosses as well.
Yeah.
Liam Rosenior and Michael Carrick. It's this Saturday at 8 p.m. Oh, no.
You love those?
Not one of those Saturday evening 8 p.m. games.
I'm afraid so, mate.
Yeah. Well, you can hear it right here on talkSPORT. I'll be tuned in, of course. I'm looking forward to it, 8 p.m. Saturday night. Up next, we'll discuss Southampton's incredible rise up the Championship with their greatest ever player, Matt Le Tissier.
Do you think Arteta's too pragmatic, Simon? Is this going to be the difference as to who ends up winning it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what he says to the players in the dressing room, but clearly I do think the coach's responsibility is if he's not actually kicking a ball, it's his responsibility to set the players up mentally and structurally to be able to do it in a fashion that produces the best outcome. And I use the word navigate at the beginning of this section, because that's what I think Arsenal are trying to do. They're trying to navigate their way through games, not impose themselves on games, not take control of the game, not to be bold, not to be fearsome, fearless. Sorry, in their and their reaction to circumstances. Now, when they went away to Sporting, it was the perfect time to not be bold, because they were trying to manage a European game, and they got praise from me last week, and people criticised them because it was considered to be a workmanlike performance. But a 1-0 away result in a European game is a good result. Now they'll bounce back tomorrow or Wednesday, whenever they're playing against Sporting, and produce an outcome again. I think everything will be revealed on Sunday when they play Manchester City.
The question is,
they'll be bold then when they play City.
Oh no, they won't be daft. No. They'll do what they normally do. The question is, if Arsenal were 3 or 6 points behind City when they played Bournemouth at home at the weekend, what would they have done different? Yeah. They would have committed. They'd have played quicker, more urgency. They would have got more men forward earlier in the game. They would have gone after them.
Feels like Arsenal have something to lose rather than something to win.
Well, it's a bit like Rory with a six-shot lead, wasn't it?
Yes.
That dwindled on day 3.
Yeah. So that begs the question then, who are Arsenal's biggest opponents in this title race? Manchester.
Hello and welcome to talkSPORT Goals. We're taking you through what should be another busy day of football. Chance to win it!
We don't need to do that, guys.
I'm going to owe you an apology. How would you get to that conclusion? That's a weak mentality.
Oh, get out of it.
This is talkSPORT Breakfast. I'm Jeff Stelling Ally McCoist is with me. 3 of the greatest rock bands of all time there. Red Hot Chili Peppers, Beastie Boys and Guns N' Roses. Why are we playing them this morning? 14 years ago today, all 3 bands were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Right. The Chili's, always rely on them. Brilliant. Guns N' Roses, fantastic. Beastie Boys, get lost. Garbage. Absolute trash. Talent-free noise. The Beastie Boys. Inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Hall of Shame, more like it. Were you a fan?
I wouldn't say I was their biggest fan, but certainly far bigger than you, to be quite honest with you.
Man.
Or they had a couple of good songs, no? I mean, Fight for Your Right to Party is obviously a classic. And then, what was that other one they had? The Intergalactic. I mean, if people at home could see your face. No, I thought they were all right, actually. No, nonsense.
No, absolute garbage. Seriously. I mean, there have been so many great rock bands around over the years, and the Beastie Boys, they wouldn't come in the top 1,000, let alone, being inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Oh, dear me.
I'm not their biggest fan.
Oh, I'd worked that one out.
Now, look, Southampton are on a sensational 17-game unbeaten run, including dumping Premier League leaders Arsenal out of the FA Cup. Let's bring in a Saints legend. Of course, it's this man.
You're ever bored on the internet, right? Google Matt Le Tissier goals.
And now Le Tissier! Oh!
Tissier.
Oh, he's missed it again! He's gone the other way this time, and Gomez has saved again. Whoa! Stop there.
Okay, you'll get
Stop there.
Might have happened.
Stop there.
St Mary's.
Come on.
There he is. Matt Le Tissier is back in the Grand.
That's what I've written down so far in his first 16 minutes, Jeff. It is not a very good game of football.
Le Tissier went for goal. Fantastic goal.
That's right, it's a very good morning to a man who scored 209 goals for the Saints, and most of them were absolutely blinding as well. Matt Le Tissier, morning, Tiss.
Morning, Tiss.
Morning, Jeff. Morning, Ali. How you doing?
Brilliant, mate. Listen, Tiss, have you still got all your Beastie Boys albums?
I gotta say, I'm with Jeff on this one, mate. I'm with Jeff on this one.
I know your taste in music, Tiss, and I knew you wouldn't be a Beastie Boys fan. Give me Shakin' Stevens every day of the week.
Exactly.
Brilliant. Hey, look, Tonder Eckert, he's 33 for goodness sake. 65% win rate. How has he done it?
It's been pretty impressive. Obviously, he had a fantastic start as interim manager when he first went in there, and then got given the job permanently. We had a bit of a sticky spell over Christmas where I think we went 7 games without winning, and then we changed to a back 4, and that seems to have been the biggest catalyst for this fantastic run that we're on. The players seem a lot more comfortable in that system. We've got a very good squad that have been pretty free from injuries, which has really helped. And so he can make like 5 or 6 changes. So if you saw the Arsenal game on Saturday, and then we went and played Wrexham on the Tuesday, made 6 changes, I think it was, and you didn't really see any difference in the quality of the squad, which is a brilliant thing for a manager to have.
Seriously, Matt, I mean, could they get automatic promotion? I mean, Jeff said it all on, and I wasn't sure, and then I'm looking at the table. It wouldn't be the most unrealistic, thing to happen, would it?
I mean, Ipswich would have to have a pretty bad end to the season for that to happen, I think. Obviously, we've got to play them, but they've still got a game in hand on us and points in front. So they'd have to probably lose 3 of their last 6, I think it is, which, given the form that they've been in, it's highly unlikely. But, it's mathematically possible, but improbable.
Yeah, well, your old pals at Portsmouth can do you a favour tonight, can't they? By beating them at Fratton Park.
Well, they did us a favour on the weekend by nicking a late goal against Middlesbrough, which means if we win tonight, we go above Middlesbrough now, which wouldn't have happened apart from that goal.
I mean, it was a complete freak goal, I'll be brutally honest. It sort of just hit Connor Chaplin and bounced in. But, watching Saints now... one of the things is they're great to watch, aren't they? I mean, I look at Cienza and Fellows, and they're a threat on both flanks. Finn Azaz is terrific. It's great to see Ross Stewart fit again. I mean, they're just a really good watch.
They are. They play some good stuff, create good chances. I think also who's made a big difference to us is Carl Larin at centre forward, who has been interchanging with Ross Stewart, and it's been great to have kind of a target man up there who can hold the ball up, and we kind of missed that a little bit for a while, and those boys have done very well. As you say, the wide boys have been in really, really good form. Leo Cienza is a real handful for any defence. Tom Fellows is one of the best I've seen at attacking his fullback, going to the byline and dinking little crosses to the back post. He might need to work on his finishing a little bit, but his crossing is excellent. His build-up play is very good. And as you say, Finn Azaz has been in really good form recently. And so, we've got a lot of attacking options, and Taylor Harwood-Bellis has been outstanding this season. Jack Stevens has come in alongside him, and the pair of them have had a pretty solid relationship at the back there. And we do look dangerous from all parts of the pitch.
Matt, I was looking at obviously the newly promoted sides this year are doing exceptionally well, particularly Sunderland. Looking at the division as you've seen it this year, would you be hopeful that would be the case again with the promoted sides from the Championship?
I think what we saw Sunderland do, Ali, with the recruitment that they went through last summer is probably something that would need to happen, certainly at Southampton. When you come up from the Championship, the gulf is so big, you've got to really try and invest to keep yourselves up there, and that's what Sunderland have done really, really well. So hopefully, if it does happen and we do go up and we get the right amount of players in the right positions that we need, then we will give ourselves a chance of staying up.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's turned out to be a great season with Man City in the FA Cup semi-final as well. Just from a personal point of view, though, Tiss, I mean, you're very much back in the fold at Southampton now, which must be a really nice feeling.
It's fantastic, Jeff. It's really lovely to be back employed by the club again. On a consultancy basis, which is brilliant. They're using my experience that I've had down the years, and I'm really looking forward to being involved in on a more permanent basis. It's a club that's obviously meant a huge amount to me throughout my life. 17 years of my playing career were spent entirely there, and it's always somewhere, as you know, it's always somewhere that I've taken a massive interest in and followed very closely, sometimes too closely when I should have been watching other games on Soccer Saturday. But I think you could forgive me for that.
So I was going to ask you, mate, before I let you go. I am not embarrassed to say it at all. I am speaking to a man who has scored more great goals than most people on the planet. Are we seeing enough shots from outside the box, and are there enough Mavericks playing at the moment?
That's a very good point, Ali. Actually, it's one of the things that I want to try to encourage in the Southampton squad, because I think that's one of the things that we don't do enough in our football team. We get a lot of good possession in the final third, and a lot of the time the centre midfielders find themselves with the ball at their feet 25, 30 yards out, and with a lot of space. If I'm in that position, my first thought was, can I just get the ball out my feet and have a shot? Mm-hmm. And as we saw with the Portsmouth goal at the weekend, even if you don't think you're going to score, you never know. If you don't buy a ticket, you never win the lottery, and you never know what happens with these shots. A little deflection, and anything can happen, and you've got to take chances. If you want to score goals, you've got to take chances, and that's one of the things that I'll be encouraging at Southampton. As for the Mavericks, I think you're absolutely right. I think football has become almost a game of chess now, and Mavericks are almost frowned upon by a lot of managers, because the managers, I feel like a lot of the time now, the managers want to be the star of the show, and the tactics and the formation want to be the star of the show, and not the players. Mm-hmm. And let's be honest, people really, when they go to watch football, they go to watch the players, not the tactics.
Yeah. Tiss Noah Okafor did exactly what you said last night. Took the chance, got that little deflection, second goal for Leeds. Nice to talk to you, mate. See you soon.
Great to see me. All the best.
Great to see you, boys.
Cheers. Adrian, Durham and the kick-off team will, of course, keep you right up to speed with all this evening's EFL action, including Southampton against Blackburn and Portsmouth against Ipswich, which itself is live on talkSPORT 2. Wads has got some advice for me. He says, go back to listening to Vieira Lynn. The Beastie Boys are class. Wads, you are right. The Beastie Boys are class. Third class. Coming up, we'll discuss whether either of the 2-0 first leg advantages will be overturned in the Champions League tonight.
Let's talk about the Pards derby. Newcastle came to Crystal Palace. They went 1-0 up, but ended up losing 2-1. Mateta, who's had a good week for Palace, even though he wanted to leave at one point. He's happy to be there now, still kicking the corner flag, doing his thing for Palace, but...
Yeah, he's got this dream of, and he's got this goal to play for France. I mean, when you look, Cherki's French, and Matt, all the great players they got. I mean, it does look a long shot for him. But if you give him a chance, and he's timed it well, Glasner. He's put him in that European game. They've not been playing well, and he's come to the fore. And they wouldn't have won these 2 games without him. He's not just the way he plays; it's his personality. I think he's an infectious kind of personality.
Is he better than Dom Solanke?
No, I don't think so. But I think in terms of a presence and a personality in the dressing room, that might make up for a lot of his technical faults, if you know what I mean. But, you can't. He has definitely got minerals.
Delivers as well.
You can see when he takes penalties and stuff. He's out. I don't like to say he's having himself, but he is. And I like that. You need players who've got that about them. And great result for them. Newcastle take the lead, lose. And, one of the things about being manager of Newcastle is that result and that fact that they've turned over a lead again will be absolutely scrutinised to the finest detail and the local radio, local press up there, and nowhere for Eddie to go.
Over the last few years, Formula One has gone from elitist and insular to a global entertainment brand. The transformation's down to American investment group Liberty Media, who cultivated a new image for the sport since buying it in 2016. Better access to drivers, improved content on social media, and tapping into the US market have given F1 a massive boost in both attention and revenues. But is everyone happy? The fans certainly are, as evidenced by Drive to Survive. Almost 7 million people per season have tuned in to get all the gossip and all the drama from the paddock. The extra exposure means the drivers can demand a higher salary too. In 2010, the top drivers were earning $20 million a year, which isn't bad. But now, the very best earn 3 times that, with Max Verstappen getting a whopping $65 million in 2025. But money doesn't always buy happiness. Some drivers, including Verstappen, don't like the pageantry the changes have brought about. In Las Vegas in 2023, Verstappen said the drivers were made to look like clowns, and the event was 99% performance and 1% race. Some purists who still watch the sport feel the same, and that the spirit of competition has suffered. But Formula One and Liberty Media don't look like slowing down anytime soon. So expect more races, major events and exclusive access in future.
Good morning, this is talkSPORT Breakfast with Ron Clark. Buy a used car and get a free 2 years.
You, of course, have it.
Plus get an extra £500 when you part exchange. Shop the upgrade event today. I'm Jeff Stelling Ally McCoist is with me. Luke says, Jeff Stelling hasn't got a clue calling the Beastie Boys garbage, but each to their own. But Luke, you don't mean that, because then you tell me how wrong I am. Says, firstly, they're a hip-hop group that sometimes transcended into rock. Obviously, they're being honoured into that genre, which is fantastic. Their contribution to hip-hop in the late 80s is now exceptional. You don't have to like them, but you can still be respectable. All the best, Luke. Yeah, well, you know, I don't like them. And yeah, look, I'm just going to say, I'm not a great expert at it. I've got a text here saying, yeah, Jeff's right. The Beastie Boys are awful. You know, then another one says you need a good dose of Little Richard. Really, no gravy, no Beastie Boys, Jeff? Come on. Yeah, I'm in big trouble, obviously. Beastie Boys says, Pete said, sold 50 million records, almost as many as you've had hot dinners, Jeff.
You must have liked No Sleep Till Brooklyn, no?
No, I loved it. Loved it. I think Sabotage.
No!
Sabotage was my
Sabotage.
favourite. Yeah. Anyway.
I'm still plumping for Intergalactic.
Yeah. You've heard as much of the Beastie Boys as me. Come on, let's be honest, you know? And people say, how much have you heard of them? You know what? Sometimes you don't need to hear much. Because you know instantly it's not your sort of music. And I know there are Beastie Boys fans out there. Just don't include me in them, okay? Now, Liverpool head into the night's second leg at Anfield, 2-0 down to Champions League holders PSG. If there's one side that know how to pull off a comeback in Europe, though, it is Liverpool.
And it's taken quickly. Oh, it is in! It's Divock Origi again! It is the most extraordinary turnaround that Anfield has ever seen. Liverpool have beaten Barcelona by 4-0. Lovely cushioned header. But oh, you beauty! What a head, son! What a head!
Header coming in. It's in the goal. Liverpool have scored. Dejan Lovren in added time has scored for Liverpool. Liverpool 4, Dortmund 3.
It's unbelievable! AC Milan 3, Liverpool 3. Andrei Shevchenko, the European Player of the Year to keep his side in the penalty shooter, and it's saved. Liverpool are kings of Europe. This is the real deal. So at a venue fit for football kings, let talkSPORT bring you a game of champions.
Liverpool trailing 2-0 against PSG back at Anfield this evening. Spike on Merseyside says, as an LFC fan, I can say PSG have the most passionate fans ever to come to Anfield. They are their secret weapon. In contrast, we've been affected by tourism, which has diluted the Anfield effect. It'll be very difficult for this team to beat PSG. Have you noticed that?
Excuse me.
Atmosphere affected by tourism?
Not really Anfield, but then I'm not there all the time. I always enjoy going to Anfield because it was as one of the great atmospheres. However, the atmosphere in Paris the last 4 or 5 times has been sensational, magnificent. It's been. Yeah. They certainly. I mean, and all the pre-match things that go on in Paris. Great, Jeff. It's a great place to watch football.
After his performance of the weekend, does Arne Slot start Rio Ungamoha?
Yeah, I think I would.
Yeah,
I really would. Because it'd be hypocritical of me not to say that, because I think I've already gone on record as saying that he should be getting more game time. I like him. I really enjoyed his performance at Wolves when I saw him. I thought he was really direct, commits people, takes people on. It's going to take, honestly, Jeff, tonight it's going to take one of the great performances from Liverpool, I feel, tonight for them to go through. If they've got excuse me again, an opportunity to go through, because you look at that PSG side and that final last year was one of the greatest performances I've seen in a major final, and they look again to me as if they're just hitting for them at the right time.
Big ask as far as Liverpool are concerned. It's the same for Barca, isn't it? I mean, they go up against Atletico Madrid tonight, 2-0 down in the tie, so they need something special. To bring us more on this one, let's bring in former top-flight striker turned Spanish football expert Terry Gibson. Morning, Terry.
Good morning, Terry.
Good morning, Jeff. Good morning, Ali.
Hey, Terry, I mean, look, Barca in La Liga, 9 points clear at the top. But that's not enough, and Hansi Flick said as much, hasn't he? The Champions League is the sort of holy grail as far as they're concerned.
It is, Jeff. I mean, they're 22 points above Atletico Madrid. And so that kind of tells you the season that Atletico Madrid have had this year. I think Barcelona, in my opinion, have always been 2 players short of winning the Champions League again this season. I think a central defender is a must for next season, and probably a centre forward to replace Lewandowski, who occasionally has a decent game. He probably played tonight, but he's 37 now. So because they haven't had the money to go and buy those players, I've always thought this year again they would come up just short. I'm not writing them off for tonight's game, but I think there are better teams still in the Champions League than Barcelona, and I think it's because of that reason. They haven't been able to spend money for years now. So the minute they do get to spend, I think they spent 27 million euros last summer, 25 on the goalkeeper. Once they can, get this stadium finished, it's nearly there now. Then they'll be back in business in terms of buying the big name players, and they need two, one at the back and one up front.
Flip side of the coin, Terry, I saw Atletico Madrid absolutely dismantle Tottenham, right? And I've got to say that particular evening, Terry, I mean, Griezmann was sensational. What is it about Simeone? I mean, he's a remarkable man, a remarkable coach. You look at that side. I know that the sending off Kubarsi in the first leg didn't particularly help. Then you look at Alvarez, who scored a magnificent goal. What is it about him specifically and Atletico Madrid, Simeone?
Well, you think, but 14 years ago, when he took over, they were going through a couple of managers every season.
Yeah.
And then Simeone turns up, and he's a player who won the double with Atletico Madrid. And he comes back to the club. Immediately, they win a Copa del Rey against Real Madrid in the Bernabeu in the final. And that was when Falcao was playing and Diego Costa. And it suddenly kicked on from there. He has what no other manager in Europe has. He has complete power at that football club. No one comes into that football club that he doesn't want. He gets rid of players that he wants to get rid of. And it's really rare now. There is a director of football there, and they've had 2 or 3 over the years, but it's Simeone's club. And he's transformed that club from a decrepit old stadium. It was a big stadium, but really old. They're in the new stadium now. They're out spending Real Madrid every summer. And every season he comes under pressure. It's kind of getting a little bit like Arsene Wenger's end of his reign at Arsenal. Because this season they were expected to challenge for the title, and they've been nowhere near it right from the first game of the season. They've not been in the title race, but they've become a cup team this year.
Yeah.
So hence the reason they're doing well in the Champions League. They've got the Copa del Rey final on Saturday against Real Sociedad. The B team are playing pretty much all the La Liga games now. I think they've won 1 game in the last 5, and that was against Barcelona. They've lost the other 4. So this season it's really different, and he has transformed the team again, because it's not a team that tonight can go against Barcelona at home and shut up shop, keep a clean sheet. They don't often keep clean sheets, so that's what makes tonight's game really interesting. That it's the 6th time they've played this season each other. Barcelona have won 3, Atletico have won 2, and that was the 2 games in the cup, 4-0 and a 2-0 last week. So I think it's Atletico Madrid to lose tonight. So it'd be interesting to see how they approach the game. We know how Barcelona are going to approach it. They're just going to go all guns blazing right from the first minute. Hansi Flick play as many attacking players as he possibly can. And Atleti do have a problem with the centre-back pairing. Pubiel is suspended. Hansko is injured. That's his first choice pairing. So Clement Lenglet play alongside Robin Lenormand tonight. So it's a slight chink in the armour for Atleti tonight.
Let's be presumptuous, Terry, and assume Arsenal get through. Who should their fans be hoping to play in the semi-final?
Well, they beat Atletico Madrid 4-0 this season, so I guess Arsenal would prefer to play Atletico Madrid. 2 totally different teams. Atletico Madrid might have learnt a lesson from that game. As I say, they've been hit and miss this season. When they've played well, and it's been a few times this season, they have a team that's potentially could win this tournament. Atletico Madrid. I mean, they've smashed Real Madrid 5-2. They smashed Frankfurt 5-0. Betis 5-0. They won at Barcelona. They thrashed Barcelona 4-0. But they've been inconsistent. But I think now they've got their mind focused purely on cup football. Julian Alvarez hasn't scored a league goal for 5.5 months, but he's been brilliant in the Champions League and the Copa del Rey. So all their focus is on cup competitions. As I say, they're in the final of the Copa del Rey. So they're plotting their way through a tricky end of the season where they're getting beaten every La Liga game but winning all the cup matches. So, both teams will be tough proposition if Arsenal get through.
Terry, I can't let you go. You mentioned the word tricky there. One side that has got a tricky game coming up tomorrow night is the City rivals. How do you see that going?
Well, Real Madrid have been poor at the moment. I mean, they were really poor at the weekend against Girona. They were poor. They lost to Mallorca the week before. Drew at home to Girona. Suddenly, Barcelona are 9 points clear. Arbeloa, in my opinion, shouldn't be manager of Real Madrid. He's nowhere near qualified. It's the same problems. I think it was absolutely foolish of them to sack Xabi Alonso during the season when they did. And they've put a B team manager in who was only B team manager for 6 months this season. And it looks like that now. So I don't give Real Madrid a chance against Bayern Munich in this game. I think Bayern Munich have got fantastic players, as Real Madrid have. But I don't think Real Madrid have the right coach to go to Munich and get a victory.
Terry, thanks very much as always.
Thanks, Terry. All the best, mate.
Cheers, Ellie. Cheers, Jeff. Thank you.
Steve the Hammer says the Beastie Boys are to rock music what Larry Grayson was to rugby league or Cyril Smith was to hang gliding.
I've got to address this one. Somebody called, it looks like Jarlath, I'm not sure, it looks like a made-up name, give a made-up name. He said the splits the last 5 games, he said, it gives me a bit of stick, which is fair enough. He said all teams play 19 games home and away. I'm afraid that's the problem, or one of them. They don't. Because Falkirk, I've got 20 at home, and Livingston, I've got 18 at home. Yeah, numpty.
It's too complicated for me. Last word on the Beastie Boys. Tom, the Arsenal fan, says, good morning, lads. Hope you're well. Jeff, I'm curious. If you had to choose, are you having gravy on your dinner, or are you listening to the Beastie Boys' greatest hits album? Tom, that is a very good question.
Brilliant, Tom.
I need a little time to think about that, mate. Thank you very much indeed. Right, still to come on breakfast.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. Doing what matters for the trade. Find your local branch at travisperkins.co.uk.
McAllister! Oh, it's unbelievable! It's Gary McAllister!
OK, I'll take the gravy on my dinner. It's a massive night of Champions League football, and we'll continue to look ahead to Liverpool's second leg with the former midfielder Gary McAllister, who'll join us a bit later on. You can have your say at around 8 on the Martinez hair pull red card. Should consistency trump common sense? 03717 223344. Give us a call and have your say. Next, are Spurs better or worse off without Christian Romero? That was our breakfast preview with our friends at Travis Perkins.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. Bricks on bricks on bricks. Over 40 million available to order with delivery to site. That's one less thing to worry about.
Happy Summers. It is Sunday, April the 12th. Your football club, Tottenham Hotspur, are 18th in the Premier League.
Why is he crying now? I tell you what, if they could all just stop crying and actually start have they only just realised? Like this is what is annoying me. This is what is annoying me. I've seen Romero cry. I've seen Mickey van der Ven cry. Where has that been all season? Has it just occurred to you, with 7 games to go, now 6 games to go, that you are sending this football club down? The captain, now you're crying. You weren't doing that when you was getting yourself sent off and missed 7 games this season. Mickey van der Ven couldn't one-on-one defend for weeks on end. We sat here and watched. Now you're crying because you realise that you're going to get relegated. Is that what I'm watching here? When none of you have given 1 ounce of a toss the entire season. They've looked like they've been so arrogant about it. When they was walking off and dismissing Thomas Frank. Didn't care, showing up late to training, which has been well documented from my club captain. Now you're sitting there and you're crying because you know that it's your backs are really against the wall, boys. You've got absolutely no quality in you. This is what is infuriating to me. It's now fully hit you. The arrogance about them is disgraceful. When people have sat there and they've said, well, Tottenham are too good to go down, you won't get pulled into it. We've slept-walked into this situation. The board slept-walked into it and had the arrogance about that, not bringing anyone in January, not trying to help Thomas Frank when they could. And I will always stand by the fact Thomas Frank was never, ever, ever the right coach for Tottenham Hotspur. You could see that. You could see that the way he set up against Chelsea. You could see that the way he set up against Arsenal. And after that, that was a sackable offence for me back in November.
Hello and welcome to talkSPORT Goals. I'm taking you through what should be another busy day of football.
Chance to win it!
We don't need to do that, guys.
I'm going to owe you an apology.
How would you get to that conclusion? That's a weak mentality.
Oh, get out of it.
I'm off. You cannot beat a bit intergalactic.
Believe it or not, this is talkSPORT Breakfast. I'm Jeff Stelling Ally McCoist.
That cost me a tenner.
Look, serious message here. We mentioned Lee from the West Midlands earlier on. Billy's texted in from Fort William. He says, well done, Lee, for getting help. I encourage any man struggling to do so. I attempted to take my own life just over a year ago, and now I'm in a place that I never thought I'd be in. There's lots of help out there. Excellent. And so many people and professionals are so happy to help. Don't struggle alone. It's never as bad as your head will lead you to believe. Great message, great words, Billy, and I'm very pleased that Lee has gone down that path.
Absolutely.
And so too
Here.
have you. Absolutely fantastic. Let's talk about what was said on White and Jordan yesterday. The former Liverpool, Fulham and Spurs midfielder Danny Murphy had this to say about Tottenham's Christian Romero.
Well, I think his tears were probably because he thinks he'll miss the World Cup. I know that sounds a bit cynical, but...
Tears for Argentina, but not for Spurs.
I think so. Why are you crying if you just got a knock? I mean, it did look a naughty one. I think he thinks he's done his knee. I think he knows. You know as a player when you've got a bad one, and I think the tears were, I'm going to miss the World Cup.
And we got some Spurs fans, obviously, in the office. And there's a bit of debate about whether actually Tottenham are better off without Christian Romero in the side, in the sense that I think nobody doubts his talent. I mean, he's obviously very talented, but his temperament can let them down and has done more than once.
Of that, there is no doubt. I mean, what was the game I was at? The sending off was ridiculous when he follows through. You know, and I always thought that Van de Ven was a kind of calming influence on him, but yeah, there's no getting away from him. He is a loose cannon. There's no doubt about that. But he can also play. He definitely can also play. Look, I don't know, Jeff, but he looks to me as if he's one of these guys that if Tottenham go down, yes, he'll be disappointed and he'll say all the right things, but he'll be away to Atletico Madrid or wherever it will be at the start of next season. That's what I think.
Yeah. Interested after that first game, Mickey van der Ven was speaking, and he said, obviously, Roberto De Zerbi just come in. He wants us to play a passing game from the back. We may not have time to get used to it, which is very worrying for a Spurs fan.
Oh, yeah. That's panic stations, that. I mean, the first thing if Van de Ven should be saying, right, the first thing he's asked us to do is roll our sleeves up, fight for every ball, work for every pass, run till we drop. That's the first thing. And if you can pass and play good football and score goals, great. I mean, I didn't see all the game against Sunderland at the weekend, Jeff, but all the reports said that it wasn't. They weren't beaten due to lack of effort. Which
they worked hard.
Yeah, which in saying that's a ridiculous thing to say in the first place, because that should be a guarantee. But having watched Tottenham, I did have my doubts earlier on in the season whether they had the same level of commitment as the teams around them. I'm still not sure they have, to be honest. I'm looking at West Ham, for example. You look at Leeds last night, Forest, but they have got the next two games, as you mentioned, dear me. And one of the guys that messaged in, if they don't get results in the next two games, it will be too late.
Yeah, Brighton next, Roberto De Zerbi's old team, of course. Just a quick word, a text from Sam. A discussion point, he says, how many times are goals conceded, not by tactics or skill, but by players turning their back on the ball? Last night again, just a basic, surely, because obviously Okafor's second.
Yeah, it was lively.
The Euros, and it was just half-turned.
Yeah.
Half-turned away. Do you expect your defenders to face the ball at all times, even if it's going to come smack and hit you in the face?
Yeah. 100%. It still does. I'm with the texter. It drives me crazy. Anybody turning their back on the ball. When you give away a free kick, Jeff, it should be an unwritten law that you backpedal away from the ball so you take off your eyes what's going on. As soon as you turn your back, clearly and obviously you can't see what's going on, so you can get a quick free kick taken against you. You give away a free kick or a free kick's given in front of you, we were always told, back off, backpedal away, don't take your eyes off the ball.
Do you think we're seeing it more often now that players are turning away from the ball?
Maybe. I don't know, is the honest answer to the question. But, no, it's one of the first things you're told. A couple of things. You play to the whistle. That's the first thing you're told. And don't take your eye off the ball.
Yeah. Stand up and be counted, I think.
Yeah.
Up next, we'll be discussing hair pull gate at Old Trafford last night. Should Lisandro Martinez have seen red for that incident involving Dominic Calvert-Lewin? Have your say. 03717 223344.
Out of the stadium on Saturday, and I'm an old school, and I said to your researcher that I think this goes back a long way. It goes back to Arsene Wenger the last 11 years. We're cowardly. We've got nobody in the midfield. We've got a lovely bunch of players that are all on their own lovely. No Patrick Vieira. Nobody to stamp their foot. No, Patrick Vieira would have been the ideal person on Saturday because he would have got in amongst them. Declan Rice, amazing player. You can't knock him. Zubimendi, great technical player. But every time we tackle somebody, they're picking them up. Are you okay? Are you all right? We need somebody, Simon will probably tell you this in business, you need somebody that can hardball, that can go in and say, that's not working. What are you boys doing? They were all popping Zubimendi out on the pitch on Saturday because he was giving the ball away, to be fair. But this goes back to the Wenger days of turning us into a weak, cowardly club. And sadly, we're going to go up there Saturday. I'll be up there Sunday. I think it'll be 5-0. I've got this horrible feeling that they're going to tear us apart. I don't know what Danny thinks about. He spoke earlier about having somebody in the midfield that calms the nerve. We haven't got that. We just haven't got it.
And it's not going to be that, is it? When did Arsenal last concede 5 in a game? I mean,
I understand his fear. I understand his fear because if Arsenal play...
Aguero, Solskjaer, Deeney, Watkins. Sure, you know all about those last-minute goals, but have you heard the one about the on-loan goalkeeper who saved his temporary employers from disappearing out the Football League and into almost certain financial oblivion? Back in 1999, Carlisle United, managed by Nigel Pearson, were fighting to stay in the Football League. Carlisle's finances were precarious with a capital P that season, leading to a scenario where, with 3 games to go, they had to ask the FA to sanction an emergency loan deal to bring in a goalkeeper. Swindon Town's Jimmy Glass arrived at the club. His efforts in his first 2 games earned the Cumbrians 2 draws. Those vital points meant that Carlisle went into their final game of the Division 3 season, now League 2, needing to beat mid-table Plymouth Argyle in front of their own fans and hope their relegation rival Scarborough didn't win against Peterborough at home. The game at the McCain Stadium finished 1-1, and with the same scoreline at Brunton Park deep into injury time, Scarborough's fans invaded the pitch en masse, believing their Football League status was secure, convinced they'd done enough to stay up. However, there'd be one more plot twist. Carlisle won a corner in the dying seconds, and up came Jimmy Glass. In one of those you couldn't make it up moments, Glass scored from a rebounded header and was promptly swamped by teammates and thousands of fans who quite simply couldn't believe what they'd just witnessed. As for Jimmy Glass, he became an overnight celebrity, but he never played for Carlisle again, and his playing career never really kicked on after that defining moment. He took on various jobs outside of football before finding his way back into the sport as player liaison officer at Eddie Howe's Bournemouth, and most recently the general manager at non-league Wimbledon. Not the fairy tale ending to one of the most Hollywood moments in football, but the name Jimmy Glass will live on forever as the scorer of that goal, arguably the most important in any club's history.
Good morning, this is talkSPORT Breakfast with Arnold Clark. The perfect time to upgrade your car. Get 2 years free servicing when you buy a used car in the upgrade event. Check it out online. I'm Jeff Stelling Ally McCoist is with me at 8:05 on Tuesday the 14th of April. On the way for you this morning, should you ever mix football with politics? Well, we're going to do that a bit later on as political podcaster Alistair Campbell will be joining us. Don't worry, we'll be talking about his beloved Burnley as opposed to the Hungarian elections. Gary McAllister will tell us at 9 where the Liverpool season all hangs on tonight's second leg against PSG. It's not only former footballers we have on the show, current Sheffield United striker Patrick Bamford will be joining us as well. But now, a huge win for Leeds United sees them go 6 points clear of the relegation zone. 2-0 up and battering Manchester United anyway. But then Lisandro Martinez got a red card for a hair pull on Dominic Calvert-Lewin. I tell you what, it split the audience, this one. A couple of examples here. is I think Calvert-Lewin's performance last night was incredible as a traditional striker. Regardless of the soft red, he wound Martinez up perfectly and bullied Euro. Another unnamed text here says that I don't think the hair pull was intentional. If it was, he should be sent off because it's petty and pathetic. But given I don't think it was deliberate and it looked like he barely had hold of the hair, I think it's soft. Dominic Calvert-Lewin didn't even know what had happened. A lot of split views here. Yeah, absolutely. Manchester United boss Michael Carrick, though, he was in no doubt. He spoke after the game with his view on that decision.
It's a shocking decision. He's literally tickled his hair as he's trying. First of all, by the way, he got a forearm smash in his face, so I don't know how that's not a free kick. And that happened for the first goal, even worse for their first goal. So then, as Leach is reacting to that and trying to grab kind of on his shirt as he's off balance a little bit with a tussle, he kind of touches the back of his head, and then the bobble ends up popping out, and it baffles me. It really does, because I don't know if that's the way we're going. And as soon as you touch the back, somebody he didn't pull. It wasn't aggressive. He didn't jolt. It wasn't nothing like that. It was just to literally touch his hair. Come on, if that's a red card, then the game's gone.
It's been an interesting debate during the course of the morning, and two very differing viewpoints at present. Let's go to the phone lines and take a couple of calls. First of all, Jonathan is a Manchester United fan. Morning, Jonathan.
Morning, Jonathan.
Morning, boys. Hope you're well.
Yeah, really
we're
good, thanks, mate.
So good. Well, I was there last night, and that was one of the most shocking decisions I think I've seen. I mean, not so much the sending off was bad, but a 3-game ban for violent conduct. I mean, how's that violent conduct? Yeah. It was shocking, and also, I think so much now the inconsistencies of the referees. I mean, Calvert-Lewin gave a great performance of an old-fashioned centre-forward. He was all over everyone. He was elbowing everyone. But by the same rights, if Martinez is getting sent off for having a little tug at his man bun, and to be honest, if you've got a man bun, it shouldn't be an offence to pull it anyway. You know, well, it shouldn't be. Come on, boys. You know, it's the inconsistencies. You see what goes on at corners where everyone's pulling each other around. You know, it's got to be one way or the other. But that is really a bit of a side issue to me, because United's performance last night, especially in the first half, was awful. I mean, whoever came up with the idea of paying 50 million quid for Manuel Ugarte should be sacked immediately. The guy does not have a forward pass in him. He can't tackle. And I think it's been great under Carrick, and he's done a good job. But the problem for Michael is we've got a decent 11 players, but once you take out Maguire, once you take out Kobe Mainoo, you know, there's no legs in midfield, number one. And Euro gets bullied by anyone. And it just was very poor. And unfortunately, I was sat next to the Leeds fans. And how massive it was for them. I don't think I've ever seen so many Yorkshiremen have a mutual orgasm at the same time in one place.
Jonathan, I'm not sure you can say any of that, but you have done, mate. So.
And you've made us smile, mate. That's for sure.
And look, you made a lot of good points as well about United's performance, but also about the 3-game ban, which is crazy.
Violent conduct. He's right.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody will ever convince me that is violent conduct. It's a foul, maybe a yellow card. It's not violent conduct.
No, couldn't agree more. Let's see if Ben agrees. He's a Leeds fan. Morning, Ben.
Morning, Ben.
Morning, fellas. How are we doing? Thanks for having me on. Absolutely buzzing this morning.
I bet you are, mate.
Sunshine, tweeting. A Leeds shirt is on, mate. I'm in the office with a Leeds shirt. What a day.
Your boys were great, Ben. I mean, they were terrific, weren't they?
Honestly, Ali, I've watched every game this season, and bar Arsenal this season, we've been in every game. We're playing really well as a team. I think that's the thing. We are a great team. And I don't think 15th is reflective of how we've played this season, honestly. We've been very unlucky. So to get that result last night, amazing. Amazing, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, how surprised were you by it, Ben? Because Leeds have played pretty well most of the season.
Yeah, like I said, we've been in every game, to be honest, but I know that we've always got a collapse in us. You saw that at West Ham. I think we really find it hard to see games out and close games off, even when we're 1 or 2-0 up. So even at 2-0, and even if it had been 3-0 actually before half-time, because it could well have been even 4 perhaps, but I'd still not have been that confident. But before the start, I'd have taken a point, 100%. I mean, at 2-1, I was almost thinking I'd probably still take a point. But yeah, that's massive for us. I think that's 1 foot on the beach, if I'm honest. And we're going into Saturday's game now with full of confidence. I mean, we beat Wolves before Spurs play, and I'm really happy with that. Really happy.
I'll tell you what I will say to you, mate, Ben, this no wind-up. It could end up being a brilliant season for you. I mean, things go your way. You've got a terrific semi-final to look forward to. What a game that is going to be. And as Jeff pointed out earlier on, a couple of victories in the league before that, and you could be safe.
Yeah, and you know, not having that pressure of getting relegated as well, we could throw everything into the FA Cup then, you know, and I just think, yeah, it might turn into a magical season. And praise to Daniel Farke, you know, like he turned it around in that second half against Man City when everyone thought he was going to be sacked after that game. And he's transformed the season. I think the players have been brilliant. I absolutely love that team, actually. They're a joy to watch. They make me very nervous at times, but I think it's been a big step up in the Premier League. You know, we're playing some amazing teams, and I wouldn't say we've got any standout individuals, but I think we're a really good team. And I love the width of like Gudmundsson and Bogle, what they offer us. Thought Tanaka last night was brilliant that first half. I mean, we played Man United off the park in that first half, let's be honest.
You see him week in, week out, Ben. Just quickly, who's been your player of the season?
It's a tough one, isn't it? Real tough one. I mean, I love what Calvert-Lewin's brought to the team. I think he's a classic number 9, good physical player. He must be horrible to play against. I think Stack's been brilliant. Do you know what? Wildcard, I think Gudmundsson. Honestly, I think what he's done, and you know, Bogle would be a shout as well. I just think that formation, the way we play, playing with width, the balls that whipped in, you saw it with that, you know, those early chances last night and the first goal. I think that's what summed up Leeds this season, really. So I'd probably give it Gudmundsson.
Ben, thanks very much indeed.
Thanks, Ben.
Brilliant call, mate. And he's gone. Stephen York says, ridiculous from Michael Carrick, evoking Fergie vibes. Would he have felt the same if his player's hair was pulled? He says, Martinez is an idiot, fully deserved the sending off. Probably a little bit harsh, but as I say, it has definitely divided opinion. Alex, who's an Everton fan, says, morning chaps, isn't it mad how people don't like this rule now? A Man United player has fallen.
Oh, Michael Keane before him. I remember it.
He says nobody was money when Michael Keane was against Wolves a few weeks back.
It's a good point, that, actually.
Yeah.
Good point.
Sam from Spalding says, all I'm going to say is that Manchester United took one for the league last night to help Spurs get relegated. It's terrible. It's a bit harsh, isn't it? Hair pull is more disrespectful than violent conduct, says Tom, who's a Gunners fan. That probably is the case as well. I think the argument is over whether it's violent conduct. I mean, it was a foul, no question about that. But is it violent conduct? Is it a red card? I'm not so sure about that. It is, 8:14, very nearly 8:15. Forget the Beastie Boys. You'll be treated to a rare clip of Super Ali boogieing to Football's Coming Home in a moment.
And Tyson Fury, along with Mr. Warren alongside him in the ring, had a look at Anthony Joshua sitting ringside, and Fury honed in on Joshua and said, okay, how about it?
Next, I want to give you the fight you've all been waiting for. I want you, AJ, Anthony Joshua. Let's give the fight fans what they want. The Battle of Britain. And here's my challenge. I challenge you, Anthony Joshua, to fight me, the Gypsy King, next. Do you accept my challenge?
Tonight is your night, and you know I'll sit across that ring from you in due time. You ain't gonna tell me what to do. I've been chasing you for the last 10 years. When you're ready, you come and see me and tell me your terms and conditions, and I'll have you in the ring when I'm ready. I'm the boss.
I'm the boss.
You work for me. I'm the landlord. Remember that. I'm the landlord. You work for me.
Now, I've got to say, Simon, I thought AJ handled that brilliantly.
Yeah, to a point. I think he's absolutely right not to allow the whip hand to be Tyson Fury's, because Tyson's all pumped up after being back in the ring and having just won a fight. The flip side of it is I don't think Anthony Joshua is the landlord. I don't think coming after getting ironed out by Daniel Dubois puts you in the box seat. You are both the biggest names in British boxing over the last decade.
Hello and welcome to talkSPORT Goals. We're taking you through what should be another busy day of football.
Chance to win it!
We don't need to do that, guys.
I'm going to owe you an apology. How would you get to that conclusion? That's a weak mentality.
Oh, get out of it.
Good morning, this is talkSPORT Breakfast 8:19, Tuesday, April the 14th. I'm Jeff Stelling Ally McCoist is with me. Now, our good friends down at Virgin Radio have some very exciting news as they revived a 90s classic. Let's take a look.
Puppies smell like popcorn, or does popcorn smell like puppies?
Yeah, man.
Do I read the book and put the show on hold?
No, you have to watch the show now.
Right.
I feel like it'll get spoiled if you don't watch it while it's coming out, right? Because people talk and...
Yeah, people do talk.
It's David Stevens. It's coming home. It's coming home. It's coming. Football's coming home. It's coming home. It's coming home. It's coming. Football's coming home.
That's right, Chris Evans is bringing TFI Friday back to its original home with a 6-week run of TFI Unplugged, airing every Friday at 11 p.m. on Channel 4. It begins this week. Virgin Radio's unplugged version of the defining 90s show will retain its original DNA whilst embracing a more intimate and contemporary format. This Friday's episode will feature Peter Capaldi, Cush Jumbo, Gemma Arterton, Sam Ryder, Jack Savaretti, Shreya Ghoshal and Sindhu V. TFI Friday Unplugged this Friday from 11 on Channel 4. And if you were watching, you'd have seen a very young Ally McCoist.
That was, let me think now, 32 years ago, but it's 30. No, 30, 28, 30.
Wow.
Certainly 28.
How old were you then?
I think fine, that's none of your business.
I love it. Anyway, look, it's something to
It's a
look
great
forward
show.
to. 11 o'clock on Channel 4. I'm looking forward to seeing Sam Ryder, who mentioned yesterday. He's a mate of mine and just about to start a run as in Jesus Christ Superstar, where not surprisingly, if you know what Sam looks like, you'll know he's playing the lead role and he's well suited to it. Right, let's get the latest odds now with Coral and Dave Stevens.
The Coral Daily Download on talkSPORT with Coral. We're here for the Scottish Grand National. T's and C's apply. 18 plus gambleaware.org.
Steve-O,
good morning to you.
Very good morning to you.
Gentlemen, good morning. And those watching, the fresh-faced Ally McCoist, Jeff. I mean,
I know.
Oh, dear. What a life you must have led, Ally, to look like that then and now look like...
Listen, mate. You'll have found out where you were yesterday. One of the reasons I look like the way I do at this moment in time. You were up in my home city.
I had the pleasure of being in Glasgow for a flying visit, but we're back there obviously on Thursday. It was great. We teamed up with Christian Daly, an old pal of yours.
Absolutely.
Who loved his time at Rangers. I have to say, he did say it was
wonderful lad.
Great time in his career.
What was his nickname, Steve? Do you remember? Christian Daly? They called him Parish Magazine. Christian Daly.
Very good.
So anyway, we're seeing Christian again. He's joining us on Saturday for the Coral Scottish National. That's why we were up there. We had the trophy in one of our shops in the centre of Glasgow because it's a huge summer of sport coming up, obviously.
Yeah.
We had the National, but the Coral Scottish National is a huge event. Then we've got this fantastic title race to come to a conclusion, and then the World Cups. It's great to team up with Christian. In terms of the big race itself, look, we haven't got Willie Mullins battalions this year, but we could still have an Irish winner.
Steve, what's the reason for that? Is there a specific reason for it?
For Willie not having the numbers?
Yeah.
Yeah, simply because last 2 seasons he's been chasing down the title, of course. And there's huge prize money up for grabs this weekend there. Of course. Dan Skelton is £2 million clear.
And congratulations to him, of course.
So, absolutely. Congratulations to Dan. What an entry he had. What a season he's had. And Willie's got his own battle back at home against Gordon Elliott in the Irish Champions. He's still in second place there. Punchestown to come. So he's saving his big guns for that. But Joseph O'Brien has got the favourite for the big race on Saturday in Kim Roque, owned by top man Ronnie Bartlett and a few other guys. But Sir Alex Ferguson's got Isaac Tizobo in there. Lucinda Russell and Michael Scudamore. Got King of Answers. Obviously, that'd be a hugely popular winner. So that's all to look forward to. But this afternoon up at Market Rasen for the Coral Racing Club, we've got All the Glory going for a 50 grand race. Ooh. Now, this should have been at Cheltenham, but they've finished at Cheltenham for the season while they carry out some drainage work. So the great news is the race has been rescheduled, and All the Glory for Richie McClernand and John Joe and AJ O'Neill goes for the club. And if she could pick up a chunk of that 50 grand, that'd be fantastic for the members.
What were the games tonight, Steve? Well, some great football tonight and tomorrow, obviously.
Yeah. Isn't there just? I mean, look, we've got to start with Liverpool. They've got a mountain to climb. Let's not beat around the bush. They're 4-1 to qualify. PSG 7-1 on, and that tells you its story. Liverpool 13-10 favourites to win in 90 minutes. PSG 17-10. But Jeff, here's the scary thing, I think. PSG are already 2-0 up. They are 5-1 on to score at least once tonight. If they go and get a third goal, well, I mean, look, is the tie over? Liverpool fans will hope not, obviously, if Anfield can get rocking. But I thought PSG were magnificent in the first leg. The other game, again, Atletico leading 2-0. But Barcelona are 4-5 to win in 90 minutes. But again, Atletico, no surprise, are odds on to get through that one. But look, we've got to go into the Championship because it's one of those. I heard you with Tiss earlier, obviously. Yeah. It's one of those very strange nights, Jeff, where we want them to win and they want us to win.
First time ever.
Hostilities have got to be suspended for an evening.
Yeah.
I heard you saying that Connor Chaplin's goal was lucky earlier, Jeff. I mean, come on. Ali, have you seen it?
Yes, I've seen it, mate.
I mean, he was doing his very best to get out of the way. Yeah. And luckily couldn't. Yeah. And it's come off the top of his thigh. But that was a huge result for us, which we needed because Oxford won again. We're 11-4 on to win. Ipswich even money 12-5 the draw. And then, as I say, Southampton, Blackburn, again, 2 teams at opposite ends of the table. Southampton 8-13, Blackburn 4-1, 3-1 the draw there. So huge night, not just in Europe.
Steve,
but,
I've got to say, I'm laughing at that, mate, because there will have been occasions where you probably, a Southampton win would suit us. And there probably has been occasion from Southampton's point of view, a Portsmouth win would suit us, but probably never, ever at the same time and the same night.
But that's it. And both obviously playing at home, so only 20 miles apart. Both kick off at 8 o'clock. Look, we did them a massive favour with that fantastic Connor Chaplin winner at the weekend. But yeah, look, we've got our own issues here, which is getting at least a point against Ipswich, just to keep us a little bit. I mean, I say safe. We're 1 point above Oxford at the moment, and that we might end like that, and I would take that.
Yeah, although you're now hearing the West Brom may face a points deduction, so that could impact those relegation places.
It's genuinely, Jeff, it's a really hard one, that, because obviously Leicester have already had 6. Sheffield Wednesday have lost a load of points. But for that table would look so different. But I can't sit here and say I want West Brom to lose points, because I know it sounds terrible. That isn't how any team wants to stay in the league. But it just shows you what a difficult time it is to be that sort of club.
No, you want the outcome to be decided on the pitch, don't you? I mean, that's the gist of it. Just quickly, Steve-O, after last night's game, Manchester United's odds for Champions League, Leeds United's odds for staying in the Premier League?
Yeah, I mean, look, Leeds, I hate to say it, seem safe. It feels like they've got enough of a cushion now. They're out to 8-1 to be relegated, so they'd be 20-1 on to stay in it. In terms of Manchester United, they're still in pole position. They're still 10-1 on to get a Champions League spot. Obviously, Chelsea dropped points at the weekend. Villa dropped points. Liverpool did win, but 5 places will do it. So I don't think it's panic station. If you'd have said to any United fan at the start of the season that they would definitely be finishing Champions League, I'm sure even the most pessimistic United fan would have taken that.
What sort of ground will we get at the weekend?
I think it's going to be pretty testing, Ali. The Graham Anderson, the clerk of the course, I think, has had a pretty soggy winter up there. But...
we've had a lot of rain, mate. A lot of rain. You'll be absolutely stunned to hear that, I would imagine.
Well, you say that, but generally that little corner of West Scotland has a microclimate. I mean, the number of nights I
must have missed that, the 63 years I've been up there.
Oh, come on. We've sat out on that balcony on the racecourse getting sunburned on occasion.
That's true.
And we'll be heading up to Scott's at True Marina on the Friday night. I'm sure the weather won't let us down. But, yeah, honestly, Christian Daly, he genuinely spoke very highly of Ali, Jeff. Just goes to show you can fool some of the people some of the time.
Well, the feeling's mutual because he's a great lad, that's for sure, Steve-O.
Steve-O, enjoy Scotland.
See you Friday, mate.
And enjoy
Jeff.
tonight.
Cheers, Ali. Cheers. Thank you.
And that was a look at the latest odds with Coral 18+, gambleaware.org. Coming up, we'll hear from a Spurs fan who's glad Cristiano Romero won't play again for them this season, and from Burnley fan Alistair Campbell. He'll join us live.
The Coral Daily Download on talkSPORT with the Coral Reward Shaker. With 100k of free bets available online each day, we're here for the Coral Scottish Grand National. 18+, max 1 reward per day. Reward restrictions and T's and C's apply. Gambleaware.org.
Tottenham Hotspur, this mighty club with a phenomenal stadium, we all know that, of course, are looking at heading to Sheffield United, with all due respect, Birmingham, Swansea, Preston, Stoke next season. Is that what's going to happen? Graham's a big Tottenham fan and joins us live. Graham, good morning. Is that what's going to happen?
I'm sorry to say, I think at the minute, I think it has to be. We'd have to be completely blindsided, I feel, to think anything else.
I said in amongst group chats with friends that in January, the moment we slip into that bottom three, I don't see us getting out of it. And I think it's got nothing to do, and this alludes to a point that Simon made, I feel, maybe 10 minutes ago, about not necessarily having that quality, because it's clear that the quality hasn't been there this season. It's about having the fight and the mentality to actually pull yourself together, earn the money that you're being paid, and get yourself out of this and restore some sort of reputation that this football club has got. Unfortunately, I feel for us at the minute, we have too many players that have completely checked out. When the going got tough in and around January, February time, when you actually sat there and thought, we're in a bit of bother here, agents started appearing. Suddenly we've got Van der Ven.
Boxing. It's a sport that makes multi-millionaires out of the world's best fighters, but it's not as flush with cash as you'd think. We all see how much the likes of Tyson Fury or Canelo Alvarez make every fight, but that's not the case for those just starting out, or those who aren't even at that level. For example, if you've just turned pro and don't have a promoter, you have to sell your own tickets, cover the cost of the venue yourself, and pay the tax man at the end of it. You might not even break even, but if you do, you're looking at 5 to 10 grand max. A mid-tier fighter might make more like 10 to 50 grand, but you still have to give up half of that in costs. So unless you're fighting for a world title, it's tough to make money. One potential way of doing it, though, is being a journeyman. Here's former European champion talkSPORT's Spencer Oliver explaining how that could work.
They want to fight every week, and they can be going in against the prospects, so they can demand good money, and they might be demanding like 5 grand, 10 grand for a 6-rounder or something, because they're going in with a prospect. He gets through that, the journeyman gets through that fight, and he can fight again next week.
I mean, even so, it's not much, and you're getting punched in the face for a job. It's only really at the top level, i.e. fighting for titles, where you're earning up to 6 figures and can afford a diamond chain or that Ferrari. So boxing isn't a sport that allows you to retire at 40 and live a life of luxury. Much like a lot of other sports and jobs in general, it takes an awful lot of luck quite early in your career to really make it worth your while.
Good morning, this is talkSPORT Breakfast with Arnold Clark. Shop the upgrade event today and get an extra £500 when you part exchange your car. Don't miss your chance to boost your valuation. I'm Jeff Stelling Ally McCoist is with me. Oasis, I Am Made in Sade. That's more like it. None of your Beastie Boys. Now we've been talking. Christian Romero reports that he suffered a knee injury, will keep him out of the rest of Tottenham's season. Let's get a view of a Spurs fan on that. Here's Michael. Morning, Michael.
Good morning, Michael.
Good morning. How you doing, lads?
Yeah,
doing well, thank
really
you,
good.
mate.
So will you miss him?
Good. Not at all. Not at all. I think he brings a bad negative vibe to the team. I even wanted Deserby to drop him as skipper. He does my head in. I'm not a fan. Not a fan at all. I think Danzo could do a great job in there.
Can I ask you, mate, what did you think of the appointment of Deserby initially? Because a lot of folk, probably myself included, at the importance of the situation at Tottenham, and I thought they might have gone for a figurehead, whether it was a Harry or a Glenn or somebody like that. I just thought that might have been a better idea.
I was hoping for Harry big time, because I thought if he'd come in with the likes of Ledley King, Jermaine Defoe, I mean, they were even talking about it. I think they could have done a good job and just got us free. And then I was really hoping for the big man at the United States to come back, but that's obviously not going to happen now. But I'm still unsure. I mean, Saturday's performance or Sunday's performance, should I say, was okay. It wasn't great. It was better than usual, but it was still boring. I mean, it's just I'm not going to lie. I'm sick of Tottenham right now. I love them to bits, but I'm sick of them, as I'm sure most fans are.
Do you think you'll stay up, Michael?
Oh, mate, you know what? It's squeaky bum time, isn't it? After the Leeds result last night, I mean, yeah, it's difficult to say, but obviously I hope we do.
Yeah,
so, yeah.
Brilliant. Michael, thanks very much.
All the best, Michael. Thank you.
Cheers, lads.
Now, I mean, Michael touched on it there. Leeds taking a giant step towards safety last night with that win at Old Trafford against Manchester United. But one team whose fate is as good as sealed for all the wrong reasons is Burnley. They moved another step closer to a return to the Championship on Saturday with what was their 20th defeat of the campaign. Home to Brighton it was. talkSPORT's voice of live football was at Turf Moor on Saturday. Had this to say this morning.
Hi, I'm Adrian Durham, live football anchor on talkSPORT, and I was at Turf Moor on Saturday to see yet another Burnley defeat, yet another pathetic Burnley display, to be honest with you. And I've got questions about Scott Parker. Is he really good enough? He puts Bashir Humphreys, who's an incredibly left-footed player, at right back, and yet has the very highly paid Kyle Walker on the bench. Makes no sense to me. And if I was owning Burnley Football Club, I'd be saying to Scott Parker, what on earth do you think you're doing? Also, another controversial view here. I don't think the players Parker's got are that bad. They shouldn't be this bad. Hartman, I think, is a decent left-sided fullback. Kyle Walker himself. Zian Fleming, I think, is decent. Chowner, who was on the bench, is decent. Esteve is a Premier League centre-back, no doubt. Edwards and Anthony, if managed correctly and motivated correctly and given the right style to perform in, I think they could be decent players. But he's got it all wrong this season, Scott Parker, proving he's not a Premier League manager. And I think from Burnley overall, it's been a pretty pathetic attempt to stay in the Premier League.
Adrian Durham, who will be applying for the next vacant Premier League manager's job, no doubt, with an insight like that. Let's get the view of a Burnley fan, shall we? Not just any old Burnley fan. Let's hear from Alistair Campbell. Good morning to you, Alistair.
Good morning, Alistair.
Hi, Jeff. Hi, Alistair. How are you?
I'm very, very well, thanks. How are you? How have you? Give us an overall opinion, an assessment of your team's performance.
No. Never mind that. I want to know what you felt about Viktor Orban's defeat in the Hungarian elections, Alistair.
Oh, now you're talking, Jeff. Now you're talking.
Maybe
I mean, that was a proper rout.
Yeah. Let's go back to Coisty's question. We'll get into trouble for talking politics.
Well, it was though, and it just shows you, no matter, there he was. He thought he was coasting to victory. He had Trump backing him, Putin backing him. He had lots of dodgy money flowing there, and he got absolutely hammered. Yeah. Back to Mr. McCoist's question. I mean, look, I thought Adrian was being very, very harsh there. In most games this season, Saturday wasn't great. I'll give him that, but in most games this season, nobody's absolutely battered us. We've usually had 15, 20 really good minutes where we've looked like we might, be onto something. And I don't buy the idea that the players, I don't talk to that many players as often as maybe as I used to, but the ones that I do talk to, they're definitely still working for Scott Parker. And I think that, the truth is we don't know. You mentioned Hartman there, who's, and I agree, he's a really good player. But I saw something he did on social media the other day. He was talking about, he's clearly been going through some sort of issues in his own life. And that's what Ali knows better than you or I, Jeff, is that when you're outside, like you guys are now and I am, you never fully know what's going on inside a dressing room, inside a camp. And I think we've just got to stop pretending that clubs like Burnley are going to necessarily survive in the Premier League year after year after year. So, and that's added to it, as I've said to Ali before, I love the Championship. That's a proper league for me.
I don't think there's any doubt about that. But does it make it a little bit harder, Alistair, when you look above you and see Leeds and Sunderland? And I know Sunderland have spent a lot of money, but I don't think we can argue they're having a fantastic season. Does that make it a little bit harder?
I think, listen, Sunderland, I was actually at an event the other day with Fabian Herzler, with your friend Jem White was there as well, a thing for Football Beyond Borders. And it was really interesting talking to him, and I think we both agreed, when you look at the signings over the last year, there's a signing of Xhaka at Sunderland has been extraordinary. He is an amazing player, and he's done an incredible job there. And yeah, yes, it does. I mean, when we came up with them and we thought, we're as good as them. We absolutely romped the Championship the year before. So yeah, it does make it a bit harder. But I just don't buy this idea of kick the manager, and he got us up, and it's not been a great season. The football hasn't been great. But I just think it's too easy to say it's all down to the manager. It's all down to lots of different things. But the one thing it's most down to is the one thing that you've just said. Most clubs have a lot more money than we do.
Although you spent 100 million or so pre-season, Alistair, in fairness, so maybe it wasn't that wisely invested. But you believe that Scott Parker deserves a chance to bring you back up from the Championship?
I think so, and unless the club has somebody better that they can do a better job, and again, I don't know who they talk to, who they think about, who they look at, but I don't hear anything within the club that there's a sort of desire to get rid of Scott Parker. I don't know. There's been grumbling. I thought it was disappointing that so many fans left the ground early at the weekend. The week before that at Fulham, again, we played really well. We were leading. And then we had sort of 10 really bad minutes and it all fell apart. And some of the fans get a bit sort of grumble about that. But in the main, I think most of the fans have felt, look, we've had a really good run in terms of, the number of years that we've been in the Premier League. It looks, as you say, as we won't be there next season. And then, we've got to find a way of getting back. But as I say, I really enjoy the years in the Championship. I'm not going to cry too much over if we do go down.
I've got to say to you, Alistair, you're talking, never mind Orban, the Hungarian elections. I haven't had a chance to tell you that when I was over for the World Cup draw in Washington, my lasting memory of the United States and the draw was when I left the building. I had to leave the building when I turned round and saw the President of the USA dancing as he does to the village people on stage. How about that for a thought?
Yeah, but listen, you're the sort of guy that I'd have expected to get up on stage with him. That's absolutely.
Well, the question.
I think I'm right in saying that every World Cup that Scotland have qualified for since I've been an adult, I've been to.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to this one. I'm not going.
No.
I think what America is doing in the world right now, I've got a horrible feeling that Trump and Infantino between them are going to turn this World Cup into a political circus. So I'm just not going to go. You guys have got to go in a way because it's your job, but I'm not going.
It was an embarrassing loving, I've got to say to you, that's for sure.
It really was. Alistair, what else are you up to at the moment? Still podcasting?
Yeah, we're about to record it today. I'm amazed, by the way. I've turned my laptop to a certain duration. Can you not spot a very important footballing figure in the background over my shoulder?
Above your right shoulder. I can't work out who it is though. I can see it.
Shall I take it more closely?
Yes, please.
I think you need to see this because this is without doubt the greatest moment of my life. You were involved in this, Ali. Do you remember?
Oh, of course, Maradona.
Yeah.
Yes, Maradona. Alistair, Walter and I used to argue daily on this. Walter, with some justification, could not and would never see by Pele, although I used to wind him up with Maradona. What a player.
Maradona was way better than Pele.
What a player.
I mean, Ali, having played with both of them. Do you remember, though, you were involved?
Of course I remember. I remember it well.
The warm-up game.
Yeah. Where did I see you playing the pipes? Where did I see you playing the pipes the other day?
Fulham.
That's what it was.
The other day?
Yeah. You're still playing them.
Everywhere. Oh, you might have seen me. I posted a video when I played them to the Scotland-Germany game when Orban was there.
Yeah.
And I tried to get him to come on the podcast, but he wouldn't come on. But listen, I've got to tell you, Ali, I've got to tell you, Jeff, when we were doing that first soccer aid with Maradona, in the warm-up game was us against the Scotland Euro 96 team. Ali, do you remember the score?
By the way, I remember the boy coming in at half-time to tell us to calm down as well. And what you don't know is, and we've got McAllister coming on in about half an hour, we never got to our beds till about 4:30, 5 o'clock, and the kick-off was 3 o'clock, mate. That's the bus news.
And never mind that, what was the score?
I think it was something like 93.
Oh,
and I was playing left back, and Darren Jackson it was just embarrassing every single time. To be fair to Ali and Gordon Jury as well, I think they realised that I wasn't the quickest. And so they were sort of strolling, but they just walked past me, whereas Darren Jackson was running past me.
Pele, Maradona, McCoist, you played against them all. Alistair, to be fair to you.
I played against them all. I know I played with Maradona, I played against you, but I've got to say, I couldn't get over. It was fantastic. The extent to which you and Colin Hendry and McAllister and all these guys, they were desperate for us to beat England. It was absolutely wonderful. Absolutely wonderful.
Alistair, always a pleasure. Thanks, mate.
All the best, mate.
Take care.
Ian from Halifax, by the way, said, showing your true colours, another delusional left-wing blithering fool. The media, apart from Sam and Jordan, is riddled with it. I tell you what, you must have some insight, Ian, to discern that I am a delusional left-wing blithering fool from my jokey introduction to Alistair Campbell. And by the way, you don't have to be a delusional left-wing blithering fool to understand that actually change in Hungary was probably a good thing.
Yeah, well, I thought so.
There ends the political lesson.
I tell you, right, and here's one we're going to end it with. Billy has just sent in a picture there. Jeff, you got to have a look at it. He's driving up the road and he's just sent us a picture, and in the shadow of Ben Nevis, and it looks absolutely stunning, Billy. I'm so jealous. That looks beautiful. Beautiful.
Oliver in Burnley says, as a Burnley fan, I entirely agree with Adrian Durham's summary. There's nothing about us. Parker's formula hasn't worked since about 10 games in, and he's done nothing to change it up. Dreary, sideways and backwards stuff with no effort to go for it. So Oliver agrees with Adrian Durham. Right, still to come on breakfast.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Benchmarx Kitchens and Joinery. Get trade prices on kitchens to suit all styles and budgets at Benchmarx.
Ahead of a huge night at Anfield, we'll be joined by this man.
McAllister! Oh, it's unbelievable! It's Gary McAllister!
Yeah, we'll be asking Gary McAllister if Liverpool can pull off another epic European comeback tonight. Sheffield United striker Patrick Bamford will join us to reveal all about life at Bramall Lane. Next, though, find out what radical rule change Napoli's owner is proposing to grip the next generation of Italian football fans. That was our breakfast preview with Travis Perkins.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. With 250 hire branches nationwide, it's easy to hire at Travis Perkins.
It's going to be some summer of change, isn't it, for Liverpool?
Again, yeah, massive. It's. Do
you think Slot might be part of that summer of change?
No chance. Honestly, I don't say that lightly, but the amount of Liverpool supporters I know are on the same page. The hierarchy aren't daft. They're not stupid. Finishing fifth for Liverpool, I'm sorry, that's not acceptable. Irrelevant of the mitigating circumstances.
It might get you Champions League.
Well, it will, and financially that's good, but where they're at is nowhere near. They're nowhere near it. They're only going to probably only get fifth because of other teams failing below them.
How many times did you play for Liverpool? You got a rough ballpark figure.
240, 250.
240, 250. So you must have the absolute utmost admiration for Andy. 373 appearances for the club.
He
came for 8 million from Hull.
But the respect comes from not only his longevity, it's the level of his performance during that period. His numbers are phenomenal, and he's been. I think he's been underrated. I don't think he's ever, in all the success Liverpool have had. Yes, there's times where he's had some plaudits, but it's more been Trent.
Yeah,
the front three under Klopp, all that's the Henderson, the captain fantastic. Robbo's gone under, and there's the other thing as well. Last thing on him. It's no coincidence Virgil hasn't been himself because he hasn't had Robbo next to him. That's definitely a factor.
So, heart says Liverpool, PSG.
No, my heart doesn't even. They're not. PSG are here.
You're giving up on them because PSG are PSG.
Hello and welcome to talkSPORT Goals. We've been taking you through what should be another busy day of football.
Chance to win it!
We don't need to do that, guys.
I'm going to owe you an apology.
How do you get to that conclusion?
That's a weak mentality.
Oh, get out of it.
Good morning, this is talkSPORT Breakfast, 8:53. It's Tuesday, April the 14th. I'm Jeff Stelling Ally McCoist is with me today, and we're here through until 10 o'clock. Right, Ali's sitting alongside me, and there's much to get into from across the world of sport, so it's time for a bit of this.
Ask me. Back to McCoist! The goal's been coming, and it's supplied once again by Ali McCoist.
Chop. I just used to chop it back over the net.
Hi there, it's Sean Dyche here. You're listening to the Alan Brazil Sports Breakfast Show.
Can't it be a bit AC/DC, man? But the football ground, it's pardon me.
I'm saying a mongoose. Yeah, but it's a mongoose-like creature. It might be the mongoose, in fact.
Marvellous! You've got no idea! I used to be quite well respected in footballing circles.
Time when we get Ali's definitive answers to some of the most divisive topics of the moment. Let's start in Italy. Aurelio De Laurentiis, the Italian movie mogul and owner of Napoli, has declared soccer will lose the younger generation with the way it's going. And he has some ideas like this one: reduce the halves from 45 minutes to 25 minutes and replace yellow and red cards with 5 or 20-minute sin bins. Should we listen to this idiot? This guy? Reduce the halves to 25.
I have to say, and you asking that question, I think you very much have tried to influence my answer. Well, may I just say with some justification? No, is that serious?
Yeah. Well, let's have a new law that no movie should run for more than 25 minutes. Let's see how he likes that.
Perfect. Do you know something? But the irony of him being the owner of Napoli, one of the most passionate group of fans in world football.
Yeah.
Never mind what you and I are thinking. What are they thinking?
Yeah. Try telling the Napoli fans that actually, boys, you're coming along for 50 minutes of football, 25 minutes each half.
No,
I
crazy.
don't think so.
Absolutely crazy. Ain't happening.
Next, Max Downman. Jack Wilshere joined the boys on Drive yesterday. He was insistent that Downman should be given a seat on the plane to the World Cup this summer.
Yeah, he's got some fantastic ability that sometimes you just can't ignore. It doesn't matter how old you are. And, that it feels like as well he's becoming quite an important player for them at the moment.
Do you think he's good enough to go to the World Cup?
Yeah, I've said it before. I think he is. I think that he has to play. He has to play for Arsenal between now and the end of the season, because I genuinely believe, and I know we've had this chat before when I used to come in, that players should be picked for England when they're in form, when they're playing. So I think he has to play, but I do think he's good enough. I said it before. I think if he's Spanish, Spain would take him to the World Cup. So why shouldn't we do it?
He's 16. He should be doing his GCSE, shouldn't he?
Yeah.
I don't see that happening. Do you, Coisey?
No. I said at the time, and I get called the old stick in the mud, whatever you like. I think we should just everybody calm down. He's a great talent. He's going to have a wonderful, wonderful future ahead of him. He won't be on the plane, Jeff. And you know something? Nor should he be, in my opinion. But I think he will have World Cups ahead of him. I mean, is that where we are? Is there a clamour because people think that young lad is the difference between England winning the World Cup or not? I'm not sure it is.
I don't see how it would benefit him,
no,
or necessarily England either.
See, I think he would have to have been in the last squad to have any chance at all. And I don't think, he did enough to be in the last squad. Talking about someone's come off the bench, scored a fantastic goal, and I keep saying it, he's a great talent, easy on the eye, and he's going to have a wonderful future ahead of him. But no, I don't think so. Not in the plane for World Cup.
There might be as much or more of an argument to take Rio Ngamoha, who's proven, still not often, and not often enough, that he's fearless and can perform in the Premier League. I know Darwin has as well, but it's just one Premier League start for Matt.
I think you're right. I don't think either of them go on the plane. But
no, I don't.
I think you're absolutely spot on to make that comparison. But and the one thing I don't want to sound like is some old guy not wanting to give youth its chance. Far from it, because I've said quite the opposite about Ngamoha. I think he should have had more game time this season at Liverpool. I genuinely do. And you asked me if I think he should start tonight. I said yes. But I still think it's a little bit early for World Cups.
Yeah, absolutely. And England, we're blessed with plenty of talent. Hopefully, we say that every World Cup, don't we?
It's amazing that particular run there, or the couple of games. We've seen it before. It was a good squad to miss.
Yeah.
It was two good games to miss.
Dead right.
You become a better player not playing in those.
Damn, dead right, no question about it. Well done to Jack Wilshere, by the way, as well. Luton EFL Trophy winners at the weekend. A couple of minutes away from 9 o'clock, the Leeds United and Scotland legend Gary McAllister will join us next. One thing I did think, though, was I looked at City at Chelsea yesterday, and when they stepped up a gear in the second half, I thought Cherky was fantastic.
Yes, he was.
Half as well. He gives you something totally different. But what I was going to say was the depth of that squad, that they can bring on Phil Foden and Savinho. They can leave Mamouche and Reinders sitting on the bench twiddling their fingers,
Yeah.
I think that squad, Arsenal have got a great squad too, but I just think that squad depth could be the key in the end.
Yeah, I wouldn't argue with that. That again, they were so impressive second half. I mean, Jeremy Doku, when I love watching when I'm watching him, Jeff, I love Liv, the way that every time he gets the ball, his first thought isn't to just step inside and drop it off to somebody else and then go wide again and I might get it back in a minute. Can I travel 20, 30, 40 yards with this ball? Can I beat my man Can I get beyond him? Can I then produce something? And every single time he gets the ball, his first thought is to get at people and get beyond them. Love that from wide players.
I do love that from wide players because we don't see that enough from wide players. However, it is just his 8th Premier League goal in 4 years. Isn't that wild?
Is that
for someone like Jeremy Doku?
Yeah, really.
7 before yesterday.
Well, again, it's that's a really interesting stat. That is. But and again, for someone of his ability, he should be getting a lot more than that. But he's just such a dangerous player and tough. Malo Gusto is a decent fullback. He had a tough time yesterday.
From the Toffees to the Tractor Boys, the Eagles to the Seagulls, Gunners, Bees, Hammers and Magpies, Premier League teams have got a load of crazy nicknames. Ever wondered where they came from? Let's start with Everton. They're dubbed the Toffees, but why? Well, because when the club was formed, just down the road there were 2 local toffee shops. Ye Ancient Everton Toffee House and Mother Noblet's Toffee Shop were big fan favourites. Next, they say if you can't beat 'em, join 'em, and that's exactly what Ipswich Town did when it came to their nickname. The term Tractor Boys used to be chanted by their opponents as a way of putting the team down for their farming background. But during one game back in the late 90s, Ipswich were 1-0 up and they decided to flip the script. 1-0 to the Tractor Boys, they sang, and a new nickname was born. Let's head to Leicester, famous for more than just a red, orangey cheese and Jamie Vardy. Leicestershire is also the birthplace of fox hunting, hence the Foxes. Next up, turns out apples are not the only fruit that don't fall far from the tree. Bournemouth's nickname, the Cherries, comes from the fact the club's stadium was originally built right next to a bunch of cherry orchards. This next story actually involves 2 club nicknames. It started with Crystal Palace. They were having an absolute nightmare run back in the early 70s. They'd been relegated after a terrible spell and manager Malcolm Allison decided enough was enough. He wanted a new nickname, something strong, fast and destined for success. Something exactly like an eagle. But there's more to this one. Brighton were in search of a nickname too, and Palace finally gave them what they needed. In a heated match between the two back in 1976, Palace fans began chanting, "Eagles, Eagles." And some clever Brighton fans came up with the perfect reply, "Seagulls, Seagulls." Not all club nicknames have a crazy story though. Take the Gunners. That just comes from the fact a group of munitions workers in the Royal Arsenal factory in Woolwich set up the club in 1886. On the flip side, some nicknames seem simple, but there's a bit more to them, like West Ham. The Hammers is actually nothing to do with the ham part of the name. It comes from the fact the club used to be called Thames Ironworks FC and was made up of workmen and shipbuilders. So next time the away end's chanting their crazy nickname, you'll now know exactly where it came from.
Good morning, nearly 9:05 on Tuesday, April the 14th. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with Arnold Clark. Buy a used car and get a free 2-year service plan, plus an extra £500 when you part exchange. Shop the upgrade event today. I'm Jeff Stelling Ally McCoist is with me today. We're here until 10 o'clock this morning. Still lots to come between now and then. We'll be joined by the Sheffield United striker Patrick Bamford. Is Chris Wilder already preparing his team for a promotion push next season? Chelsea are on a horrible run, but will it get better anytime soon for Liam Rosenior? Andy Jacobs is not convinced.
It was one of the most poorly coached games I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, that was short and sweet.
That was... I tell you what, he certainly wasn't convinced. He wasn't convincing, never been convinced.
Was it one of the most poorly coached performances you've ever seen?
Oh,
as much of that lie at the door of Rosenia?
You know, we're all experts nowadays, Jeff. Do you know what I mean? These guys go through their badges, they play the game, and then people, and we do it ourselves, criticise them for not having a clue, tactically naive. You know, I mean, with greatest respect, you know, if you go through, do your badges, you play the game at the top level, you know, I would suggest you might make mistakes, but you're not going to be tactically naive, right?
No.
You might get one or two things wrong and you might not do what people think you should do. But I think sometimes we're slightly overcritical with some of the terminology we use.
And no one was saying he was tactically naive after the first half an hour when they looked like the most likely side to score.
Yeah. And they're up against a team who are absolutely just about at their peak again and absolutely flying. So the result, I don't think, was a major surprise, City winning the game. And I thought Chelsea played well for long periods of the first half. But I understand the disappointment of Chelsea fans because the last 3 or 4 weeks, the things that have been going on, you know, the devastating loss in the Champions League, losses, poor performance at Everton, beat home in Newcastle, you know, Huddlegate and all that kind of stuff. It's not been a good month.
No, and he's clearly under the cosh a bit. Right, now it's time to welcome this man.
McAllister! Oh, it's unbelievable! It's Gary McAllister in the 4th minute of stoppage time!
Teared up here, maybe for McAllister. Oh, what a great goal! Fantastic goal from McAllister! McAllister into his right foot, he tries his shot here, yes! That's outstanding finishing. It's McAllister against his own club! I don't believe it! 4-4, Gary McAllister! It's in there by Walters! And now the title goes to Leeds United without any doubt at all.
The 1992 title winner with Leeds United, 2001 treble winner with Liverpool. It's Gary McAllister. Morning, Gary.
Morning, Gary. How are you, mate?
Good morning, guys. How you doing?
Yeah, really good. Thanks, mate. Really good. I guess you watched the game last night, did you? What did you make of Leeds?
Oh, Jeff, I was all over it. I thought from minute one, Leeds were fantastic. And in fact, you know, getting in at 2-0 up at half time, they should have been 3 or 4 up. I thought they were really good. 2-man. I thought Manchester United couldn't cope with the intensity of the closing down. They played some great football, but I thought they outfought Manchester United, certainly early in the game. They were the best side by quite a distance.
Gary, it's amazing. I don't know where you are on. I spoke to, and I keep telling folks, I spoke to Eddie Gray last week, and we all know what a legend he is, what a great player, great guy. And he was saying, you know, Leeds are certainly in a relegation fight, but in many ways he couldn't believe the position they were in because the level of performances throughout the season have been good.
Without, I've been doing a few times, Coyce, to beat Ellen Road quite a bit, been over to Anfield as well, but certainly watching Leeds United, you know, I've been home and away to games. They're always in it. You know, they play some really good football, but the biggest problem for all the teams near the bottom of the league is scoring goals, you know, and that has been a problem. Calvert-Lewin has managed to stay pretty fit, and I think he's been excellent. But to see Okafor get a few goals, that's going to boost him for the run-in. I think they've got quite a good run-in. But it's just, as what Eddie was on about as well, their performance level has been above where the position in the league is. You know, as much as they're 6 points clear of the bottom 3, I think they should be at least pretty safe by the next couple of games.
Yeah, pretty sure they will get safe. And I know Calvert-Lewin didn't score last night, but I tell you what, it was the performance of a proper, old-fashioned centre forward, if you like. I really enjoyed it.
Yes.
Gary, moving on to Liverpool. Look, a big ask tonight against PSG. It's the big stage, worldwide audience. Is this the night that Florian Wirtz stands up and shows he's worth £116 million?
Well, Jeff, you watch him. Coyce, do you watch him? He's a number 10. You know, he can play in that little pocket. I think we're all very much aware at Leverkusen he was outstanding. He's come in. It's a massive fee. I think he's touched his performance level on occasions. You know, not necessarily an entire game, but he's certainly shown enough to show everybody in this country that he's a proper player. But this is why he signed the big name players, the players that come in over 100 million. And if he can produce a performance to score a goal or make a goal, that's his job. Score a goal, make a goal. There's no doubt he's got ability. But for me, there's still plenty in there for the Liverpool fans to see. And if they needed a performance, they need it tonight. It's going to be a tough ask. I thought PSG were outstanding last week. You know, they've got some outstanding footballers. But Anfield, the Perry, you know what it's like. Anything can happen at that ground at any given moment.
It's the one place you're absolutely right, but it's going to take it, because I've written down one of my notes to say to you, Gary, talking about PSG. I've seen them enough over the last 2 or 3 years, and I've still gone about that final last year where they absolutely put in one of the performances I've seen in a decade. Simple, against Inter Milan. And I've got them written down here as your kind of team. That's what I think PSG are. The way they play the game, they're Gary McAllister's type of team, mate.
Well, the other thing is, Coisty, when you watch football, I would imagine your first look is at centre forwards. You know, my eye is always drawn to the middle of the park.
Yeah.
And Vitinha is just something else. Just the way he bosses the game. He's not big physically, but he's got a wee bit of nastiness in his game. But the way he controls and passes and moves and glides, and the way he links his team from back through the middle to the front, and then when you go into the guys that are up the park, you know, they're just irresistible at times. You know, Dembele, if he had his shooting boots on last week, you know, PSG could have won 4 or 5. But he missed a few chances. And the game at 2-0 still gives Liverpool a chance. But again, you've got to stop Dewey, you've got to stop Dembele, you've got to stop Vitinha. It'll be some game. I'm going over tonight. I'm going over to the game. I don't know if you're there, Coisty, but it'll be lively at Anfield tonight.
Yeah. Did they start Ngamoha tonight?
Well, for me, the thing is when you're talking about youngsters, you know, there's a bit of a modicum that you've got to sometimes try and protect youngsters. But the beauty of a young player is they don't think about it. They've got no fear. And whenever the young lad comes on or wherever he starts, I feel he's a player that just is a little bit naive because he's so young, and he'll just go for it. So, for me, if you're asking me, I would start him, because I think he'll relish it. He won't think too much about it. He'll just be thinking, "Wow, I'm playing against PSG in the Champions League."
I like him, Gary. I've got to say, listen, mate. Liverpool and Leicester aside, you're having some season, boy. Motherwell, Rangers, Leeds, Coventry. National team in the World Cup.
It's only the
what a season you're having,
it's
pal.
only the Foxes that are struggling. It's only Leicester.
What about Coventry, though?
I think Frank's done a fantastic job, and it'd be brilliant to see them back in the top division, Coist. I was there for 4 years, and it's a great club. Great fans, you know, it's a small provincial club, but it'd just be great to see them. They had such a wonderful record of staying in the top division, and they've had to go and play at Northampton. They've played over in Birmingham. They've lost the stadium. It's been, but the owners and the manager, the coach now, you know, Frank, and all the players, they've done an amazing job. They're there. But I'd love to see them go up as champions. They're 10 points clear with 4 or 5 games to go, is it?
Yeah,
they should be fine. Yeah. But it would be better if they go up as champions.
Yeah. Gary, enjoy tonight.
Gary, mate, the one award.
All the best.
The quick one before you go, mate. The one award that Jeff never gave you was my tidiest roommate of the year. There's no doubt about that. Mind you, competition
after you is not easy.
Competition wasn't fierce with Mo Johnson, Gascoigne, and Durante writing off, but you've won it, mate.
By the way, 15-1. You never won one. You never won 15-1 once.
Brilliant.
We used to sit and play that 15-1.
And you didn't win.
Oh, I beat him all the time. Don't let him.
I was going to say, with that crew, I would have thought you were bound now.
Oh, aye. Competition was not fierce.
Well, Gary Mack must have been pretty good at that, wasn't he?
Oh, he was good.
Yeah.
He was the second best.
Yeah. You can say that now because he's gone.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Freddie in the Mumbles said, "Morning, chaps. I do like some Sade when I'm chilling out or serenading. But holy moly, guacamole, how has her wondrous voice been classed as rock and roll? Will the Beasties be getting enrolled into the next Soul Music Hall of Fame? Brilliant, Freddie. Thank you very much indeed for that. Coming up next, we'll speak live to Sheffield United striker Patrick Bamford.
Do you think Arteta's too pragmatic, Simon? Is this going to be the difference as to who ends up winning it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what he says to the players in the dressing room, but clearly I do think the coach's responsibility is if he's not actually kicking a ball, it's his responsibility to set the players up mentally and structurally to be able to do it in a fashion that produces the best outcome. And I use the word navigate at the beginning of this section because that's what I think Arsenal are trying to do. They're trying to navigate their way through games, not impose themselves on games, not take control of the game, not to be bold, not to be fearsome, fearless. Sorry, in their and their reaction to circumstances. Now, when they went away to Sporting, it was the perfect time to not be bold because they were trying to manage a European game, and they got praise from me last week, and people criticised them because it was considered to be a workmanlike performance. But a 1-0 away result in a European game is a good result. Now they'll bounce back tomorrow or Wednesday whenever they're playing against Sporting and produce an outcome again. I think everything will be revealed on Sunday when they play Manchester City.
The question is,
they'll be bold then when they play City.
Oh no, they won't be daft. No. They'll do what they normally do. The question is, if Arsenal were 3 or 6 points behind City when they played Bournemouth at home at the weekend, what would they have done different? Yeah. They would have committed. They'd have played quicker, more urgency. They would have got more men forward earlier in the game. They would have gone after them.
Feels like Arsenal have something to lose rather than something to win.
Well, it's a bit like Rory with a six-shot lead, wasn't it?
Yes.
That dwindled on day 3.
Yeah. So that begs the question then, who are Arsenal's biggest opponents in this title race? Manchester City.
Hello and welcome to talkSPORT Goals. We've been taking you through what should be another busy day of football.
Chance to win it!
We don't need to do that, guys.
I'm going to owe you an apology.
How would you get to that conclusion? That's a weak mentality.
Oh, get out of it.
talkSPORT Breakfast. I'm Jeff Stelling Ally McCoist is with me and Buzz. He said, we just got a text a moment or two ago from Freddie and the Mumbles. He said, it sounds like one of Stuart Pearce's favourite bands. Brilliant, Buzz. Thank you very much indeed for that. Competition time, big one. We've got 2 tickets for Wimbledon and this coming summer up for grabs. Monday, July the 6th to be precise. You'll be watching the world's best tennis players from the official Wimbledon debenture seats on centre court. You'll also have exclusive debenture lounge access throughout the day. Perfect place to soak up the atmosphere between matches. For your chance to win, text the word WIN to 83338. Text costs £2.50 plus your standard network rate. Or you can call 0343 418 7260. Blinds close Thursday, 4 p.m. So that's when you'll need to answer your phone if it rings. 18 plus, UK residents only. This is a network promotion. Full T's and C's at talksport.com. So for your chance to win, text the word WIN to 83338 and do it now. Right, joining us next is this man.
Harmer now heads off, feeds it early, big chance here, Bamford scores!
Bamford is back. There's no doubt about that.
Sadiqi on the charge, right for the ball, Bamford again! Second goal for Patrick Bamford. Second goal for Sheffield United.
Right hand corner of the box. Cross for Bamford! Heads it home! Magnificent! Patrick Bamford!
That's right. It's time to say a very good morning to the Sheffield United striker, Patrick Bamford. Morning, Patrick.
Morning, Patrick.
Morning, guys. You all right?
Yeah,
well,
good. Thanks, mate. I think 1 or 2 eyebrows were raised when you teamed up with Chris Wilder at Sheffield United, but I'll tell you what, 10 goals in 25.
Yep.
It's not gone too shabbily, has it?
No, it's gone all right, to be fair. And yeah, there was obviously a few questions when I first joined, given the previous, I guess, but it's gone well. So.
I was looking at that. I must admit, Patty, I had a wee look at it when you were coming on. I did a wee look at it last night. I would imagine the two of you look back and laugh about that now, do you not?
Yeah, to be fair, it got quashed quite early when I rang him the day after to apologise, and he kind of took it very well, actually. He said, I give it as much as, so I've got to be able to take it. And yeah, it was brushed under the carpet and not really been spoke about since, but we have a really good relationship, so it's all good.
I tell you, over your career, mate, you've worked with the whole spectrum of managers, haven't you? From Chris Wilder now back to, you know, Marcelo Bielsa. I mean, you must have experienced every form of manager.
Yeah, I think that obviously I was on loan quite a few times as well when I was younger, so I don't know exactly how many managers I've had, but I've been through my fair share. That's true.
I'm going to say to you, Patrick, looking at the league, I mean, the wrong thing to say, there's not a lot to play for. I mean, you're obviously safe, and it looks like you wouldn't make the promotion playoff places. Does that alter the way the boys go about their business, or is it, I would imagine under that kind of manager, it's business as usual, no matter who the opposition is?
Yeah, I think Chris has made that clear, to be honest, that obviously it's disappointing in terms of the fact that we're not pushing for promotion, but he wants us to win every game, and obviously develop that winning mentality for next year more than anything, I guess, because as you know, in this league, it's consistency, and unfortunately over the last maybe like 2 months we've not had that, which has kind of killed us.
Yeah. Well, you're looking back to the start of the season. I mean, United lost 8 of their first 9 and only scored 3 goals. I mean, that's clearly down to the fact you weren't there then at that stage, Patrick.
I'm not going to take credit for that, but to be fair, when I did come in, everyone started scoring. So I don't know whether I was a bit of a lucky omen or what, but we did have a pick-up in form.
Yeah,
it's a great place to play. I've been lucky enough to go there. I mean, I went to the Derby game as well there, Patrick. Fans, the atmosphere is fantastic. I would imagine it would be good at the weekend. You went 1-0 down, McBurney scored, red card, come back, Danny Ings got a late winner.
Yeah, it was. I mean, the atmosphere is good, and especially, as you said, the fact that we're not playing for promotion, and it kind of is one of them seasons that's going to peter out a little bit. But yeah, the atmosphere has been brilliant. And on Saturday, we was a little bit sloppy in the first half. Obviously gave the goal away and gave a few silly passes away, but it turned into an exciting game, and it was just important for us to win because we hadn't won in a fair few.
Yeah. I only know Chris Wilder from a few hours spent in the bar with him, to be honest, Patrick. What's he like in the dressing room? Is he calm and mild-mannered?
I mean, probably what you're thinking is exactly how he is. He says it. He's straight up, which is one of the things as a player you want. You want your manager to be open, honest with you, and sometimes that means you've got to take it when he gives it to you. And it's one of them. He says it how it is. He tells you what you've done right, what you've done wrong, and what he expects from you. And if you deliver, then he'll pat you on the back. And if you don't, then we'll let you know as well.
I can imagine. I always found they're the best ones to play for. Mine. They're absolutely. You know where you stand on me.
You want straight talking people.
100%. Patrick, last night, big result for your old club.
Yeah, great result. I watched the game, and I think, to be honest, it could have been out of sight in the first half, and obviously second half, you know that Man United were going to come back. But yeah, great result, and I think it edges Leeds a lot closer to that points tally that will keep them safe.
Yeah, I mean, you had seven years, 7 pretty good years there as well, so you must still have mates there. So I'm assuming you're rooting for them to stay in the Premier League.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the boys there are still really good friends with, and obviously I'm really happy for all of them, and the staff behind the scenes as well, because obviously a lot of them don't get talked about or mentioned, but a lot of hard work from the kitchen staff and stuff goes into it. So really happy for everyone behind the scenes and obviously the players.
I'll bet you, Patrick, looking at the bigger picture, I personally think it's been an excellent thing that the newly promoted clubs this season, you know, I know Burnley look as though they're going down, but apart from that, kind of Leeds and Sunderland have done exceptionally well, particularly Sunderland. I think it's been, you know, the last couple of seasons when the promoted sides have been relegated, it's given a far better image of the Championship. You look at the top of the Championship at this moment in time, would you be fairly confident that the promoted sides could handle the top flight?
Yeah, I mean, look, if it had happened again this season, what's happened in the last few, it would have been a bit of a worry, because it had just showed that the gap was kind of getting too big. But as you mentioned, Leeds and Sunderland have done really well. And I think they've kind of given a blueprint to the teams that will go up this year. Obviously, you do need to spend, you need to invest. But it showed that kind of gap is achievable. And I'm sure that next year, the teams that do go up will give it as good a go as they have this year.
Yeah. By my calculation, Patrick, about 2.5 weeks of the season left. You looking forward to the break?
Yeah, I am. Although, to be fair, last summer I had a fairly long break, so I'm not going to take too much time off. But yeah, it'd be nice to get away, get a bit of sunshine, because it seems to rain a lot here in Sheffield, especially over the last few weeks. But yeah, it would be nice, and it would be good. Looking forward to next season as well.
Yeah, well, I bet every Sheffield United fan is, because Chris Wilder, he is Mr. Sheffield, and I'm sure he's going to do absolutely.
Did a great job again. Great job. If it's a rain you're after as well, Patrick, make sure your next move not to Glasgow, will you?
I'll bear that in mind.
Patrick, brilliant to talk to you. Thanks,
All the best, mate.
Have a great summer.
Thanks for having me, guys. You too.
All the best. He's done some job there, Chris Wilder, hasn't he? Isn't that amazing, really?
Well, I mean, it was ludicrous that he lost his job.
Of course it was.
You know, and then another manager comes in, builds a team which is so far, in my opinion, so far from the model that Chris Wilder would have been looking at.
Yeah.
And then he's got to start from scratch, and you're in the middle of the season. You've got no chance, have you? So, yeah, it's great that Patrick Bamford's gone there.
I think it's magic.
Yeah.
I really do, isn't it?
Yeah. And they buried the hatchet. If there was a hatchet to be buried, and they're both benefiting from it. You know, Patrick's had a good season.
Like men.
Chris Wilder's benefiting from it. Behaving like men. Hey, can you say that these days? Behaving like adults.
Is that me going to
How about adults? Shall we go there?
To me, I think the fact that they are men, I'm okay to say that. Although I'll take a yellow if it's coming my way.
Brilliant. I'm so pleased for him, because he's a lovely, intelligent, articulate footballer, Patrick Bamford. He's done a good job, I think, pretty much wherever he's been, you know.
No doubt about it.
Like him very much. It is 9:29 coming up, taking your calls on hair pull gate. Should Martinez have seen red or not last night?
Let's talk about the Pards derby. Newcastle came to Crystal Palace. They went 1-0 up, but ended up losing 2-1. Mateta, who's had a good week for Palace, even though he wanted to leave at one point. He's happy to be there now, still kicking the corner flag, doing his thing for Palace, but...
Yeah, he's got this dream of, and he's got this goal to play for France. I mean, when you look, Cherky's French, and Matt, all the great players they got. I mean, it does look a long shot for him. But if you give him a chance, and he's timed it well, Glasner, he's put him in that European game. They've not been playing well, and he's come to the fore. And they wouldn't have won these 2 games without him. He's not just the way he plays, it's his personality. I think he's an infectious kind of personality.
Is he better than Dom Solanke?
No, I don't think so. But I think in terms of a presence and a personality in the dressing room, that might make up for a lot of his technical faults, if you know what I mean. But, you can't... He has definitely got minerals.
Delivers as well.
You can see when he takes penalties and stuff, he's out... I don't like to say he's having himself, but he is. And I like that. You need players who've got that about them. And great result for them. Newcastle take the lead, lose. And, one of the things about being manager in Newcastle is that result and that fact that they've turned over a lead again will be absolutely scrutinised to the finest detail and the local radio, local press up there, and nowhere for Eddie to go.
Amen Corner, perhaps the most feared run of holes in golf. Each year it claims the tournament hopes of many, with balls hitting bunkers and water traps aplenty. But why is it so fearsome, and where did it get its name? Just the thoughts of holes 11, 12 and 13 at Augusta National gives the likes of Rory McIlroy and Jordan Spieth the shivers. McIlroy hit 3 over and Spieth hit 4 over in their final rounds to blow their hopes of a green jacket in 2011 and 2016 respectively. But did you know Amen Corner's name is inspired by a jazz song from 1933? American sports writer Herbert Warren Wint, on the left here, wrote about it in 1958, referencing the song shouted in that Amen Corner when describing the run. Hole 11 is a par 4 over 520 yards with a green guarded by a pond and bunkers to the front edge. 12, perhaps golf's most famous hole, is a par 3 over just 155 yards. The green's guarded by Rays Creek at the front, more bunkers and azalea bushes ready to punish the smallest error. Then there's the 13th that teases the hook shot over the trees. It's a dogleg par 5 over 545 yards that's inviting for big hitters who want to reach the green in 2. If you want to win the Masters, you have to keep your score down around Amen Corner. So who'll be the next to fall victim to golf's most famous and most daunting challenge?
Morning, this is talkSPORT Breakfast with Arnold Clark. It's the perfect time to upgrade your car. Get 2 years free servicing when you buy a used car in the upgrade event. Check it out online. I'm Jeff Stelling Ally McCoist is with me. Now it was party time. Well, party time for some at Old Trafford last night as Leeds moved 6 points clear of the relegation zone with that 2-1 win over Manchester United. Lisandro Martinez sent off for a hair pull on Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Which has sparked plenty of debate. Adrian, Durham and former United captain Steve Bruce said this at full time.
I actually felt it was really harsh. I'm not for hair pulling in any way, okay, because it really flipping hurts. But actually what Lisandro Martinez has done, he's kind of pulled the scrunchie. He's pulled the hair tie of Dominic Calvert-Lewin.
if that's dangerous play or something, or
violent conduct,
if that is violent conduct, then we all must just have a severe look at ourselves and say, what on earth are we trying to achieve here? The reason why we enjoy the Premier League is the physicality of it. Yes, it didn't look very great on the eye, but it wasn't a red card in my opinion.
There you go.
Plenty of response on the phone lines today and on X, where Masters says to me, he pulled his hair and he's held it as he's about to run. He has hold of it tight enough to pull his hair out, so it's no longer tied up. Yes, it's not that bad or violent, but it's in the rules. You can't pull someone's hair, and he had no reason to do it.
Is this what we're getting?
I know. Darren says...
Stop it!
Darren says you can argue all day. Don't tell them to stop it. We're asking people to call in. Darren says you can argue all day if pulling hair should be a sending off, but you can't argue he didn't do it. They allow shorts to be pulled, shirts to be pulled, arms around bodies, so probably should allow hair pulling. And Lee says the game's gone. Give me Big Joe Jordan against Willie Young anytime. Yeah, absolutely.
That's where I am on it.
Look, let's get some more calls, shall we? A Manchester United fan and actor, a familiar name to you. Will Mellor has given us a call. Morning, Will.
Good morning, Will. How you doing?
Good morning, boys. Good morning.
Great. Good to hear you, mate. What did you think of the game last night, and what did you think of Hairgate?
Oh, mate, I just got back from holiday and I couldn't wait to watch the football. I got in the house. The first half, we deserved to lose the game after our performance in the first half, to be honest. We didn't turn up. We didn't look match fit. We looked lethargic and slow. We could see we'd had a lot of time off. But the sending off, I mean, I agree with you boys. How is that deemed a straight red? Is that like, so it's in the same bracket as a two-footed challenge? Correct. Or an elbow to the face?
Correct.
If he doesn't have a ponytail, he grabs the back of his shirt and lets go. He let go. He didn't drag him to the floor. He let go. And what I don't understand is, why is VAR getting involved in them certain situations? There was no dangerous play. There was no injury going to be caused by what he did to Calvert-Lewin. I mean, listen, they're saying hair pulling shouldn't be allowed. But seriously dangerous play. Is that what we're calling it now?
Worse than that, mate. Worse. They're calling it violent conduct. So I'm guessing that's the same terminology as if you go in two-footed, as you say, or he strikes somebody or something like that. I think it's ridiculous. Listen, we're not for a minute sitting here saying hair pulling's acceptable. No, it's not. But come on. Violent conduct and a red card. And the thing is, well, just to annoy you even further, mate, that's a 3-game suspension.
And he's only just come back.
Yeah.
I mean, I just don't understand. VAR are there for certain reasons, offside decisions, and especially if the referee gets something wrong and they need to tell them to go to the screen. But they've got involved. The referee didn't call that. They've gone back and look and gone, oh yeah. And if you look at it in slow motion, which you have to do to see any kind of incident, he lets go. He doesn't drag him to the floor. I don't understand if he's dragged him to the floor. And he's got, as he said, he's got a hairband in the back of his neck, behind his shirt there. So for me, he's not looking at him when he's grabbed him, and he's let go. And I just think, if you want to give him a card, give him a yellow. A straight red for that.
I tell you what, Will, you're dead right, because the game has gone on. VAR had no reason. Correct. No reason to get involved.
It's supposed to be clear and obvious error from the referees. That clear and obvious error that he should have seen.
Absolutely not.
But he had all of his hair for it. It's just ridiculous.
Brilliant. Will, thanks for the call.
Thanks for the call, mate. All the best.
Thanks very much. Have a great day, boys.
Thanks, you too, Will. There's a great text. It's an anonymous one, which I wish it wasn't. Said it wasn't just the hair pull. Apparently, you also called him a poo-poo head and said he couldn't come to his birthday party. Got to be a red. Let's hear from Craig, who's a Leeds fan. Morning, Craig.
Morning, Craig.
Morning, Jeff. Morning, Ali. Good to be on, boys. I just want to make 2 quick points if I can. I understand it was a harsh sending off. Of course it was. I mean, the game has half gone potty if that's a red card. However, I don't want the narrative to be poor old Man United, how unlucky they were.
No.
At the time, they were losing 2-0. It could have been 4 or 5. Make no mistake, the red card threw Manchester United a lifeline. Yeah. Ali, you played at the highest level. You know when there's a sense of injustice, it gets your players fired up. Man United got fired up. It actually got them back in the game. Do you agree with that?
100%. Craig, listen, mate, you're absolutely correct. Leeds were by far and away the better team. And it certainly threw a spanner in the works for Leeds and exactly for Manchester United. They kind of regrouped. They got a little bit of belief about them. I actually think, and hindsight's a crazy thing, but I think you'll agree with what I'm going to say. Leeds United would have been far better with the game continuing in the manner it was going.
I couldn't agree more. As I said, it threw Man United a lifeline. The other points I want to make, Ali and Jeff, at the start of the season, so many experts, and I use the word loosely, pundits, and even some Leeds United fans didn't think our manager was good enough to manage in the Premier League. If you remember, there was a lot of talk about him not being good enough to manage Leeds United in the Premier League. I noticed they haven't been on this morning. Where have they gone? Any idea?
No, fair point.
Yeah. No, you make some good points. Thank you very much indeed for that. Leon has texted and he says, "Hi, guys. As Perry said, I love your show. It's never the same without Stelling moaning. Anyway, it's my turn to moan." Where do people get this from? As an annoying Manchester United fan, I actually questioned the attitude of the players last night, even though there was some rustiness from not playing for 3 weeks. That first half performance stank of arrogance. They turned up thinking they would roll Leeds over. There was a distinct improvement in the second half, but we shouldn't wait to be behind to perform better. And as for that hair pull, if you don't touch his hair, then you won't get booked or sent off. As simple as that. Anyway, well done, Leeds. He said, "That's me off my soap."
Who's that from?
That's from Leon.
It's amazing. I'd love to ask Leon, and it's great because I'm sitting here thinking to myself, well, Manchester United going to come flying out of traps now. They've had a 2-3 week break. You know what I mean? And we're all. I'm one that says, well, they look as though maybe a wee couple of weeks off could help them, and it looked the complete opposite. The adverse reaction. They looked as though they were off the pace a little bit after that 3 week layoff. So it's an interesting one.
Dan says Manchester United should be thanking the referee for sending Martinez off. It's really what the last couple of callers were saying. They were slightly less useless when down to 10, and there's no doubt the sending off worked in favour of Manchester United. They then gained the impetus that they hadn't had for the entire match before then. That's Dan, who is a delighted Leeds fan from Manchester. Whoa, Dan.
You'll be enjoying this,
you'll be absolutely loving it. Nick says, why is the strength of the hair pulling relevant? If you get punched in the face, but it's not very hard, is it not a red?
Well, yes and no. Because if you're going to tackle somebody, you can, with the ferocity of the tackle, I think it can make it more violent than not. And I think, I'm talking about hair pulling here, it was the slightest of, do you know what I mean? I don't even think he intentionally set out to do it at the start. I think he just tried to grab, if he had got his collar, he'd have got his collar. It was just for whatever was there. And unfortunately for him, and indeed Calvert-Lewin, there was a little bit of hair which is longer than in most players. Can't believe we're having this discussion, to be quite frank with you.
No, absolutely not. I mean, look, the shame of it in some respects is it's overshadowed. It hasn't overshadowed.
It shouldn't.
And it shouldn't overshadow. It was a brilliant performance from Leeds United, and they thoroughly deserved to win the game. Correct. 6 points clear of the drop zone now. I will be astonished if they finish in the bottom three.
Particularly the game's coming up, Jeff.
Yeah. And also, I think the boys on Sky last night, particularly Cara, was saying that he doesn't see Tottenham having a performance like that Leeds performance in them. Yeah. And I think he's probably absolutely spot on. Yeah. 9:44, back with more in a moment.
Abby Summers, it is Sunday, April the 12th. Your football club, Tottenham Hotspur, are 18th in the Premier League.
Why is he crying now? I tell you what, if they could all just stop crying and actually start have they only just realised? Like this is what is annoying me. This is what is annoying me. I've seen Romero cry. I've seen Mickey van der Ven cry. Where has that been all season? Has it just occurred to you, with 7 games to go, now 6 games to go, that you are sending this football club down? The captain, now you're crying. You weren't doing that when you was getting yourself sent off and missed 7 games this season. Mickey van der Ven couldn't one-on-one defend for weeks on end. We sat here and watched. Now you're crying because you realise that you're going to get relegated. Is that what I'm watching here? When none of you have given 1 ounce of a toss the entire season. They've looked like they've been so arrogant about it. When they was walking off and just missing Thomas Frank. Didn't care, showing up late to training, which has been well documented from my club captain. Now you're sitting there and you're crying because you know that it's your backs are really against the wall, boys. You've got absolutely no quality in you. This is what is infuriating to me. It's now fully hit you. The arrogance about them is disgraceful. When people have sat there and they've said, well, Tottenham are too good to go down, you won't get pulled into it. We've slept-walked into this situation. The board slept-walked into it and had the arrogance about that, not bringing anyone in January, not trying to help Thomas Frank when they could. And I will always stand by the fact Thomas Frank was never, ever, ever the right coach for Tottenham Hotspur. You could...
Hello and welcome to talkSPORT Goals. We're taking you through what should be another busy day of football.
Chance to win it!
We don't need to do that, guys.
I'm going to owe you an apology.
How would you get to that conclusion? That's a weak mentality.
Oh, get out of it.
Good morning, 9:48 on Tuesday, April the 14th. This is talkSPORT Breakfast. I'm Jeff Stelling Ally McCoist is with us. Leeds 6 points clear of the drop zone after their win at Old Trafford last night. Spurs are sitting 18th and third from bottom to you and I. In the relegation places, they look a mess, don't they? And on the sports bar, Cundy was not letting O'Hara off the hook.
It's more trouble for Tottenham Hotspur. The red and white army chorus to the Spurs fans. You're going down. Hard to argue with that at the moment. Sunderland 1, Tottenham Hotspur 0.
My players are not used to fighting in this position of the table, for sure. They are good people and they are suffering a lot for this situation.
We are terrible. I've said it and I'll say it again. The players ain't producing. They're not producing. It was a shocking performance from start to finish. Shocking.
I think we played a good game.
It felt like at the weekend that everything just was against Spurs, and it was like...
Score a goal. That would help.
It did feel like at the weekend it was almost like, let's send Spurs down.
What? EFL Roundup every Monday, just so you feel included. Spurs edition.
Mate, shut up. Shut up.
Yeah, Sports Bar unmissable last night. The boys are back tonight from 10, taking your calls. People look at Spurs fixtures, you know. Obviously, the Brighton game coming up. Then
Have you
they've
got them there?
Wolves.
Have you got them there?
I haven't got all of them, no, but obviously it's Brighton at home this week, and then after that it's Wolves away. And people are thinking this is a must-win game. But you know what? Spurs have taken 1 point from the last 8 games. Wolves have taken 9 points from the last 8 games. So who's favourite for that?
Right. I cannot believe you've told me that.
Yeah.
Tottenham have taken 1
point from 8 games. Yeah. Really scary.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah. Look, I've got a text here from Steve. It's really meant as a clip of the week suggestion, but it's come through to me. So
this is good.
I'm going to steal
This
it.
is good.
Okay. So 70 minutes into the Arsenal-Bournemouth game, says Steve, Sam Matterface is commentating following Bournemouth's opening goal and says, and Arsenal have been pegged back by the Cherries. Very, very painful, I thought. Steve, thank you very much.
Very good, Steve.
For that. Let's just touch on the Championship for the last few minutes, shall we? Title and relegation race in the Premier League is brilliant, of course, but in the Championship it is as well. Of course, there could yet be another twist with West Bromwich Albion down at the foot of the table, near the foot of the table, 2 points off relegation, potentially threatened with a points deduction. That'll be decided, we assume, before the end of the season.
That's going to be another can of worms, isn't it?
Oh, I mean, too many. We all want to see these things decided on the pitch.
I hope a decision's made on a Thursday so that you and I don't have to cover it Monday.
Yeah.
But that is some league, mate.
Oh,
that is some league.
Yeah, and two massive... Look, Coventry are home and host. Let's be brutally honest about it. We touched on it with Gary McAllister.
I love it.
Coventry, home and host.
What a
Frank
job
Lampard.
Frank's done. Congratulations.
And not for the first time, by the way, in his managerial career.
I know. Absolutely
his record is brilliant, you
know. Of course
know?
it is. And I'll tell you something else while I'm at it. You have got to be, and you'll know better than MD, you've got to be delighted for those Coventry fans.
Yeah.
You think about where they've been and had to travel to with stadiums and all that kind of stuff the last, 10, 15 years, whatever it may be. And they've now got their club back. They're now back in the big, they are going to be back in the big time. I think I mean, we often talk about things about Hairgate, whatever we've discussed today. Yeah. But you talk about a feel-good factor, a good story, that has to be Coventry.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Ipswich, every chance they'll bounce back to the Premier League as well. If they can win at Portsmouth this evening, they'll extend their gap over Millwall in third to 5 points. I think Kieran McKenna's done a brilliant job because a lot of people fancied them to go up.
Yeah.
They didn't start particularly well.
No, they didn't.
They had a wobble, but they've done brilliantly. And what caught my eye in particular was looking at Jack Clarke, who's always been a talented footballer, you know. 14 league goals this season. It strikes me that they have found the key to getting the best out of him.
I'm going to say to you, Jeff, the weekend was a big result for them. Weekend, the derby,
absolutely
a massive game for them because, make no mistake about it, Philippe Clement has done and is doing an excellent job at Norwich. So derby games are the best time. We know all about them. Big 3 points. You've got to say you would be very surprised if they don't join Coventry in the automatic places.
Yeah, I mean, it looks that way at the moment. But, you know, Portsmouth been written off far and wide. The one thing you can say about Portsmouth is that they play from the first whistle to the final whistle. Yeah, their last 3 games, they've picked, in the last 10 minutes of those games, they've picked up 4 additional points with goals in the last 10 minutes.
I can't remember specifically what game it was. I want to say Oxford.
Yeah.
They were down to 10 men.
Yeah, they were.
And come back, get an equaliser. And how vital could that have been?
Yeah. And the atmosphere at Fratton tonight will be
brilliant,
electric, you know, because they know their side has got a chance. I've spoken to a lot of Portsmouth fans, and with the fixtures they've got, a lot of people were writing them off, but they're not writing them off any longer. That's for sure.
Worth a mention as well, I know I said it earlier, Michael O'Neill at Blackburn.
Yeah?
Yeah, he's given them, I mean, they're sitting down 48 points, clearly not out of it, but you'd think maybe a couple of victories away, it would see them okay. So that, you know, they're 2 really good games. I know the Champions League are massive games, and we'll be talking about them, obviously watching them tonight and talking about them tomorrow. But in terms of the Championship, at the top and the bottom, 2 incredible fixtures this evening, Jeff.
Yeah, as you said, Southampton against Blackburn this evening as well. Remember, Southampton, look, it's a big ask for them to catch Ipswich. But if Ipswich were to slip up, you know, they have Ipswich at home in the second last game of the season. So that's it's just a little bit of pressure, extra pressure on Ipswich. Talking of pressure, by the way, you know, my mate Lee Clark has been trying to get back into the managerial game for a while, and he's manager at Rotherham now. Got the job at Rotherham. They'll be relegated if they lose at Wigan tonight from League One down to League Two. And it's not Clarkie's fault. He's only been there for 4 games.
That's a sore one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is it Millmoor?
Millmoor, Rotherham, yeah.
Used to be there. It's not now. It's New York Stadium.
Well, Paul Warren for many years was in charge of them, and they used
Ronnie
to be
Moore.
a
Is that the big centre forward?
Big Ronnie.
Big Ronnie. I remember Big Ronnie. I played against Big Ronnie.
Well, Ronnie's a Hartlepool legend. Yeah. A Hartlepool legend.
Is he really?
Yeah, of course he was manager at Hartlepool when they conjured up what's called the Great Escape, because we were about 12, 14 points adrift at the bottom of the table, and Ronnie turned up as manager. And the first thing he did was he said to the groundsman, "Don't you go anywhere near that pitch. Do not cut the grass under any circumstances." We didn't want any teams playing football there, you know. The ball was going in the air. And we achieved the impossible. And by the way, I don't know the date, unfortunately, but Ronnie is managing a team in a charity game, I think, against a Neil Warnock managed team.
Yeah.
And it's all in aid of the Rotherham Hospice. And actually, I'd just be able to tell you this. It's all in aid of the Rotherham Hospital and the Rotherham Community Trust as well. And it's on Sunday, May the 3rd. It's the New York Stadium these days.
That's right.
Sunday, May the 3rd. So it's a charity game. One team managed by the legend that is Ronnie Moore. One team managed by the legend that is Neil Warnock. And it is all in aid of Rotherham Hospice and the Rotherham United Community Trust. So go along there.
That's magic,
if you
isn't
possibly can. Because whatever happens on the pitch, it'll be feisty on the touchline. I absolutely guarantee you.
Imagine those two.
Some good players playing in it as well, including a couple of old mates of mine. Andy Monkhouse, who had a long spell at Hartlepool as well. He's going to be there. People like Leo Fortune West, names from the past maybe. They're both in Ronnie's team. And Darren Byfield and Jamie Proctor, Matt Derbyshire. They're all in the Neil Warnock team. So Sunday, May the 3rd for that.
Last question for you.
Yeah.
Can Liverpool do it tonight?
I
know, mate.
You know,
it would be fantastic.
I don't see them keeping a clean sheet, and I think that's the problem. Even Fulham at the weekend gave them some problems. I know they kept a clean sheet, and that was brilliant. But I just don't see them.
Do you know what might help?
Doing it this weekend, doing it tonight.
The away goals rule being abolished. That might just help them.
Possibly. Just to finish off with one final text. We've been talking all day, all morning, about Hairgate. Simple solution for Hairgate: mandatory skinheads. Can you imagine the likes of Mark Cucurella and Anthony Gordon with a yap stam cut?
Well, I'm doing my best.
Yeah, well, you're getting there, but it'll be a few weeks yet. I'm back next Monday. Ali's here tomorrow from 6 alongside Big Al in Brazil. Yeah, on the way to recovery, which is fantastic news. Hope you enjoy that, Coy Steve. Enjoyed the day.
Love the day, mate. You have a good day.
Yeah, thank you, mate. Next up, Jim White and Simon Jordan.
I walked out of the stadium on Saturday, and I'm an old school, and I said to your researcher that I think this goes back a long way. It goes back to Arsene Wenger, the last